Now we're live on Ustream. It's a series of events that have to take place, Tommy Buns,
I like it.
including me shutting off my laptop.
Oh, really?
No, my volume. I'm a retard.
Oh.
I always leave it on, and there's like a checklist of shit that I should do before the podcast starts. Number one, turn the volume off of my laptop so I don't hear myself. So that's stupid, right?
I'm sure we should put together a list.
Put together a list.
Checklist.
I need to get my shit together, Tommy. Doesn't look like it's getting any better. The Joe Rogan Experience podcast is brought to you by Onnit. If you go to ONNIT, you will check out some manly shit like kettlebells and battle ropes. That's the kind of shit I be using lately. I hired a trainer recently.
Did you really?
Yeah, this young dude that I do jiu-jitsu with, it's always in awesome shape and kicks my ass. These fucking workouts are so brutal.
Are you doing like cross-training style stuff?
Well, I feel like if you don't have someone yelling at you, getting you to do shit, it's like no matter how hard you push yourself, you don't quite push yourself as hard.
It's not even close, man.
As someone else does. Yeah.
That's exactly why I don't push myself. Yeah,
push you
that's
to nap.
exactly right.
I just started doing that recently. It's pretty badass. It's
I
fun.
do it I hire somebody every once in a while for like a month, and I'm like, that's just too hard. I got.
This kid's name is Justin. He trains at my gym, and I would watch him. He's training. I'm like, this guy never gets fucking tired. So I said, what are you doing for conditioning? He told me he's a trainer, and so I said, let me work out with you one day. He had me doing all kinds.
How
of
long of workouts are you
insane
doing?
Shit. It's only an hour. That's all I can take.
But intense hour is.
Oh, it's
awesome.
retarded, dude.
Yeah.
It's all like medicine balls and jumping over this and jumping squats and all this nutty track and field shit and jumping over boxes and push-ups left to right, left to right, left to right, like all this crazy like conditioning type shit.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, is it hard to do?
Well, that's every time I've done a workout with a trainer and it's been like an hour, I'm always amazed at how little I usually accomplish in an hour. You know what I mean? Because like you finish with the trainer and you're like, man, we did that in an hour. Like I usually spend an hour and I do a fraction of one of those things.
Yeah. It's hard to really fucking buckle down.
Yeah.
I can do it a little bit. I can do it every now and again, but I think on a regular basis, sometimes you need to take a class or something.
You got to
have someone yell at you.
It's like working with a deadline. Like you ever work with a deadline and you realize what you accomplish. And then when you're on your own again, you're like, yeah, you do
fucking lazy bitch. What's wrong with me?
I've worked with a deadline a few times from the road, and I'm like,
That's
holy shit, how much work I just accomplished this weekend.
Yeah.
And then it's usually the opposite thought, like, holy shit, I went the entire weekend without doing one I got up, and I went down to do the show, and I jerked off 4 times, and that's it, and that's the day.
It's amazing how much time you can waste. It's an amazing, but it's a crazy feeling when you like set the bar really high and you accomplish something in like a short period of time. You accomplish a lot of things, because then you got to keep that pace up. That's brutal.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's very hard.
That creative pace. This has nothing to do with Onnit.com.
That's all right.
Kettlebells.
That was a fun time.
But whatever, folks. Go buy some vitamins for your brain. Some Shroom Tech Sport. We have hemp protein powder. We have kettlebells, as I said, battle ropes, all kinds of cool shit. All of it health and fitness related and mental focus and clarity related.
You still have the sleep one?
Yeah, well, it's not a sleep one.
Well,
it's a mood booster. It's a 5-HTP and L-tryptophan supplement.
Does it have melatonin in it?
No, I don't think so. Does it? I should know that. Let's Google it. Because
Bing
it's
it.
what? Don't do it. Don't you bing
Bing it.
Bing all over
what
it.
it does.
Did you get boot blade, Joe?
What it does is it's 5-HTP produces. It makes your brain produce serotonin, and L-tryptophan converts to 5-HTP. So it literally, it's like it acts as sort of a time-released formula for helping your body produce essentially what makes you happy.
But people have heard, because I haven't tried it, but I've heard other people talk about since they started it, they sleep better. They told me though.
Well, there's a lot of things that can make you sleep better. Zinc's a good one. Zinc magnesium stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
And, that stuff is good. It really it helps you really get a good deep sleep. But a lot of people have a good success with melatonin. Melatonin has
Yeah, I've tried valerian root, but that gave me psychedelic dreams.
Crazy dreams.
Yeah.
Really?
Have you ever tried it?
Too
No, I'm
powerful.
going to now.
You have to try it.
That seems amazing.
Yeah.
I've had bananas fucking dreams on that
You
thing
turn
before.
into a gnome. And
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
yeah.
It's like nature sleeping.
the craziest shit I've ever done is the alpha brain dreams.
Really?
Yeah, alpha brain, especially. It seems like the old formula maybe fucked with your head even more than the new
Really?
formula. Either that or I'm used to it.
I just got headaches.
I'm not sure. But what it used to do to me was give me these crazy lucid dreams. They were really strange because they were so much more like potent than my normal dreams. Like they were like, this is how I describe it. It's like my normal dreams are like a bubble that a kid would blow when they're blowing those soap bubbles. It's like
Right.
so fragile. It's so
Yeah.
fragile. These dreams were like basketballs. Like they were hard.
Right.
Like they were real. It was really strange because it was like I was aware that I was dreaming, but I was still able to maintain the dream state. I've never been able to do that before. I've maybe been able to do that for like brief seconds. I've never tried. You know, apparently there's this thing called lucid dreaming,
Yes.
where you can actually practice certain
Yes.
techniques that can aid you and into literally manipulating your dreams.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it. I'm too scared that I would like that too much, and I would fucking
Yes.
forget real life. I'm fucking badass in my
Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah,
You
Love
know?
a good dream.
I would be worried. I would be worried that I wouldn't dedicate enough time to real life.
That's like virtual living, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
guess,
there are
yeah.
times when you wake up from a dream, you're like, the dream was so awesome.
Well,
that
if
you
you could-
want to go back to sleep. And
I don't
dream.
know if anybody's that much of a master that they could really control it that
I
much.
bet
I
there's
can a
somebody out
little
there.
bit if I focus on what I want to dream about next. I just did it yesterday. I don't know why, but I wanted to dream about Phyllis Diller. And I kept telling myself, I was like obsessed with her yesterday. I'm like, dream about Phyllis Diller, and I went to sleep and I did.
Phyllis Diller.
Yeah.
Wow. Why were you obsessed with Phyllis Diller?
I think because Tommy's cousin came over, and Phyllis Diller sent me like a note that I had framed. Like she encouraged me before she died in my career, so I just have this bond with her. I love her. I'm fascinated with her life and everything. And,
Wow.
and I just wanted to, I don't know, want to talk to her or something.
Phyllis.
So did you dream about her?
I dreamt about her house. Yes, I dreamt that I slept in her bed,
Whoa.
and that it
Whoa.
split in two, and I fell on the floor.
We got to give you some alpha brain. See
Yeah.
if it fucks with your head.
Yeah.
I think it's too late.
Or just
Too
hit
late. It's
that,
already
hit that
fucked.
If you
joint.
take the alpha brain, you'll come
I'm
back with
afraid of
like,
that
I just did
joint.
a year tour with Phyllis Diller, and it was all, you'll have like stories about the road.
Anyway, we got to get through these stupid commercials.
All right.
Don't hit that joint.
I'm
That
afraid
joint
of
scared
it.
Brian.
I'm
Scared.
having a heart attack right now.
Anyway, go to onit.com, use the code name Rogan, and you will save yourself 10% off any and all supplements. All right, you freak bitches. That sound good?
I like that.
We are also brought to you by our newest sponsor, Kerosene Games. Kerosene Games makes this badass game called Blade Slinger for the iPad and the iPhone. And it's a really good game that was made from the ground up for a pad instead of like a computer game that they port over. This is an actual high-end game, a really beautiful, graphic, fun game that was created just for the iPad. And the graphics are insane. It's really cool looking. Like, I mean, it's what they can do now is so amazing with. I mean, even just an iPad, the computer processing power and the visual processing power allows them to do some really cool shit. The game's only $2.99, so if you have an iPad, it's called Blade Slinger. Go and check it out, you dirty freaks. All right. We're also brought to you by Ting. This is the last one, I swear. If you go to Rogan.ting.com, isn't that what it is?
I think it is. Or it's ting.com/Rogan
Let's see, Rogan
dash audible flashlight
.com. Dude, don't confuse people, you fuck. You work here. That's not it. I'll find it. I'll find the URL while I do this. But what's important is what Ting is. And Ting is a cell phone company that uses Sprint's backbone. And what they do is they make it really fair, and they don't have any contracts. You can quit whenever you want. It's the same service that you get with Sprint, but it's like they don't have you as locked into this sort of a shitty situation that you can get in with a regular cell phone company. A regular cell phone company, when you buy a phone, like say if you buy a phone, it costs like $500. What it really costs is probably more than that. It probably really costs like $700, but they take it and they apply it to your contract so that if you are going to stick with them for 3 years and give them X amount of dollars a month, then it's worth it for them to sort of take that money, take a little piece of that and pay off that phone. Well, when you want to leave early, that's why you have to pay these cancellation fees.
Fee, yeah.
Like several $100s, you know?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with Ting. You can get the exact same services you get with Sprint. So it's like really good cell phone services, a shit Joey Diaz swears by. And it's you also get it's the best cocksucker. What I gotta tell you? What the fuck do I gotta tell you, dog? I'm telling you, Sprint is not to be fucked with. Sprint is not to be fucked with, Joe Rogan. Rogan.ting.com, that's what it is. If you go there, you will save. It's Rogan.ting.com. If you go there, you will save $50 off of any of their Android devices. I have the Samsung Galaxy S3, and it's the shit. It's fucking awesome. It's a beautiful phone. Like it used to be that it was iPhones or crap, and that's just not the case anymore. These really beautiful big Android phones, they get my dick hard. Oops. I said it.
Okay.
I said it.
All right.
I don't think
Okay.
the client's not happy about this. It's not a part of the written text.
We're listening to your live read. And,
Once you get online with one of those, man, it's so hard to go back to even an iPhone. When you get online and you look at websites, it's almost like having a tablet.
Yeah.
They're fucking huge.
It's amazing.
It's like 4.8 inches, and they have a Galaxy. Well, I don't know if these guys carry it. But there's a new one that Samsung has called the Galaxy Note that is just preposterous. It is a fucking iPad Mini.
I've seen those.
It's an iPad Mini, goddammit. It's huge, but I get such screen envy when I see it. Yeah. And I got that from the Galaxy S3. Having that thing, it's changed the way I look at. I used to think they were too big. I don't think so anymore.
They're pretty cool.
All these phones have 7 o'clock on them, I just realized.
Dude, it's a lucky number, man. A lot of people have superstitious.
The other
a lot of
one
people
is,
are scared.
You see somebody at a show take pictures, when they take pictures with that Samsung, you look at it, you're like, whoa. It's like someone brought up the photo on a computer. Like, it's so much clearer and brighter.
It's huge. It's a huge goddamn screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, go to Rogan.ting.com, and you will save $50 off of any of those Android devices. All right, you dirty fucks? Thank you all for listening in. Brian, play the music. Let's get a rolling.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night. All day.
That was one of our longest yet most enjoyable commercials.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Because it wasn't. You know what I'm saying, man?
I know what you're
You
saying,
with me,
dog.
brother? I mean, it was
I'm with you,
a little bit of both. What's
I'm
going
with you,
on
man.
there? Tom Segura and Christina P. I got to give you guys world champion funniest couple.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
And the breaking of the mold of every entertainer with an entertainer is in a shit relationship.
Sure.
You guys
Right,
have
right.
totally fixed that.
Yeah, thanks,
Because it's
man.
always like the dude's funny and the chick is like good looking and he writes jokes for her. It's like one of
Yes.
those,
Terrible.
or it's that the guy's funny and he takes the girl with him on the road. It's very rare
right.
that there's equals.
Yeah.
But you guys are both really funny and you really love each other. You get along, and it's like a weird
And
little
hot.
situation.
We're both hot.
You're both hot as fuck. But
Harry.
that's a weird situation that it actually works.
So lucky.
Yeah, we
I
get
think-
asked about it all the time.
Yeah, we do.
You
What
think
is
one of you
the
guys
secret?
would suck. It's usually one of you sucks. It's, right? Am I right?
For
Come on.
sure. Oh, definitely.
It's
You're right,
usually
you're
like
right.
you have to hang out with this guy's, really annoying
Yes.
wife who's also a comedian, or really annoying husband who's also a comedian.
Oh, yeah. And she's actually has less tolerance for it than like when we go out with other couples. She's
Yeah.
always like, "Don't leave me at the table with some boring fucking cunt." Like,
I hate it.
while you go have fun with the guys.
Because here's why. Yeah. Because when we hang out with other comics, like it's usually dudes, and then they have like wives that maybe not are as inspiring. And I always want to
Right.
hang out with the dudes and talk shit about
Right.
comedy, and then I always get stuck swapping fucking recipes for Apple Brown Betty. I'm like, I don't want to talk about clothes, man. like, let's talk about some shit.
Yeah, you get
They
pissed
defined you by your vagina.
Oh!
You
There
got
you go.
lumped into the wrong group. Oh shit! Speaking of which,
Yeah.
did you hear about this fucking 50-year-old guy who he had a sex change, and now he's playing college basketball.
What?
No, I
He's
missed
playing
that one.
college
That's fantastic.
women's
Yeah.
basketball.
great.
He's enormous.
Wait, now did he? This is another. I don't know about this. Hold on. This is really. You just made me really think about this. Did he have college eligibility, or did he already go to college as a man, and then since he switched sexes, he has new 4 years of eligibility to play? Because that would be so awesome if he did that way.
That's rad.
Dude, this guy, okay, probably a very sweet person. I shouldn't say thing.
Right.
But this dude / woman now? Did I say woman? Okay.
I don't know
The
what
woman
it
that
is.
used to be a man, let's call her a woman. She is 6'6".
Whoa.
Wow.
That's some real.
She's
yeah.
not. That's like a giant man, and
huge.
she's decided that she's a girl now.
Okay.
So she has the sex change operation, but she's still a 6'6" man-bodied woman.
It's a big bitch,
So
dude.
that is like if you're. I'm looking at all these little girls that are playing with her.
Yeah.
Man, if your daughter was playing basketball with a
Yeah.
dude
Who's
that was
6'6".
pretending
Yeah.
to be a woman or
Yeah.
decided to become a woman,
Right.
You can't. That's all fine and good for the real world if you want to define
Right.
yourself as a woman. But when you
Sure.
enter into athletics,
Yeah, man.
there's a reason why there is fucking different categories for
Yeah.
men and women. That
Yeah.
shit's not fair.
So it's not fair. You
No.
think it's an unfair advantage?
Oh my god!
Without
it's an
question.
enormous man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The other thing is too is because the one thing that's hard, I think, when you're not involved in this, but you see somebody, let's say, who gets a sex change, and I'm saying outside of sports, right? Just in life,
Right.
You go, they're like, hey, I've decided to do this. I'm a woman now, and you go, okay, right? You want to be like, fine, you're a woman now, but there's that part in my mind that always goes, yeah, but when I look at your hands, even if you've had surgery and everything, those are still men's hands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are men's arms that you have and legs. Even if you have like implants in and you change your whole face, like that's still a guy's bicep in your arm.
Yes.
Even though you had a sex change. So you're still, so if you take
So
that
he's
to
playing
sports,
as a man, yeah.
Yeah.
that's where it all counts. That's
a
where
good
your
point.
original
And
biology.
it counts the
That's
other way
smart.
as well because there was a guy who was a Muay Thai fighter and he was really like a high level fighter and he decided to get a sex change. And then once he got a sex change, he literally got his balls cut off, stopped producing testosterone, and started getting the fuck beat out of him.
No shit,
Yeah,
really?
'cause he was still fighting men.
Oh,
he
he's-
was still fighting men, but he didn't have balls anymore. So it's not exactly that this 6 foot tall person that was a man in
I see what you're
is
saying.
now a woman is
Yeah.
a woman, but it's not exactly that he's a man either. He's sort of in this
I
weird
see.
limbo
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
But he still has this unfair mechanical advantage. That's a giant person. He's got huge shoulders, huge hands.
Right.
If you're playing against a little girl, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Well, and it is like those athletes. Weren't they saying that the people that had prosthetic limbs, like the runners with those special, you know what I mean, those legs, those,
Prosthetics.
yeah, that they were like, that's an unfair advantage. You're
Yeah.
so lucky to be
Well,
crippled.
the one guy made it in.
Well, I don't want to say that that anybody would be lucky to be crippled.
No, but they were
No,
saying
but
that.
people were
That's-
saying that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were really saying that. What they were really saying is, like, realistically, let's look at what's going on here. There's a mechanical advantage to those things
Right.
that surpasses the human body. Like, these are springs. You're running on these crazy sprinting springs.
Right.
You know? I mean, those things work like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So if they're really, it seems like they work better than legs. So
Right.
that is
Well,
different.
one thing that can't
But it's
happen
an
for
unfair
sure with those
advantage.
on is you cannot tear your Achilles.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it literally
Right,
you don't
right.
have one.
Yeah.
You can't tear your ACL
Yeah.
if it's up to your quad.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is really, I mean, you would never want to say that there's anyone that has any sort of an advantage to being handicapped.
No,
No,
I-
that's not
you know
the
what I'm
point.
saying? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a sensitive issue. I mean,
Right.
we're all very lucky that we're not.
thank
Well,
God,
yeah.
of course, of course.
But when you do see like that, you can run faster with that. Like,
Yeah.
at what point in time do you let that go? If the world record becomes a guy with robot legs,
Right.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, how do you define the athletics then?
Like that guy was in the Olympics this summer with prosthetics. You remember that?
Yes, yeah.
The sprinter, was he South African?
I don't know.
I forget where he was from. I think he was, but he it was cool to see him in the event. He didn't win or medal, which made it less of an issue. No, people didn't press it, but they were pressing
Right.
it before he got in. People were saying.
Or that South African runner, remember when we were
That's
in
a-
South Africa? Was she was both genders or something, and everyone was upset about
No,
that?
well, that was people were accusing her of being a hermaphrodite, and they put her through.
Oh
this, like,
yeah, that's
But
right.
was she at the end of the day?
No, she's a woman, but she was put through like really brutal,
Examination.
horrendous
Yeah.
scrutiny. Yeah. And people were
And
awful
she
to her.
definitely is a woman, 100%.
I'm almost certain. I just forgot her name. I blanked on her name too. But she is South African, and and the country, they adore her because she
Really?
was so. Because people really were horrible to her,
Wow.
like during the the scrutiny.
Right.
Yeah, but she's. I'm fairly certain she's legitimately.
Though, I mean, if you go through the trouble of cutting your peener off and doing all that, like, just let the girl play
But that's not her.
basketball.
But
She's
the
not-
problem is, it's not let her play basketball. It's let her play basketball with little girls.
What school
I
does
There's all these little girls that are playing. They're like, they just went to college. They're 18. This is a 50-year-old man.
Now,
This
that
is
one's
fucking
crazy.
Bananas.
That one is crazy.
Okay, that shit is bananas.
just
What
let
school
her play.
is this?
Let me
dude?
see here.
Poor guy, poor girl.
Yes, you're
You know
right.
what I mean?
You're right.
For God's
Absolutely.
sake.
Yeah, God bless him.
Yeah, his whole life, he just wanted to be on the ladies' team, and
Yes.
now it's happening.
Yes, sort of, but it's not fair. I mean, it's
It
just
isn't.
not.
Life's never fair.
The problem is once you start having competitive athletics, it's
Right.
like with any other thing in life. It's do whatever you want to do. If you want to go to work with a dress, if you're nice, I'll talk to you. Like, I don't
of
need
course.
you to dress like a man. If you whatever your fucking thing is, just
Yeah.
if you're nice, I don't care. I'll talk to you. But you have to recognize the mechanical advantages to the
Yes.
male
Oh, yeah.
frame.
Of course.
I mean, the tendon strength. I mean,
Well-
even when there's a depletion of
I agree.
testosterone
Yeah.
and your body sort of shrivels up a little bit and
Yeah.
you lose muscle mass,
Sure.
it's still a goddamn man.
Yeah, and the overwhelming evidence is if you look at if you line up men's and women's results
Yeah.
for athletic competition, there's a reason why every single one, basically, the men are more advanced and they run faster, they
I
jump
know,
higher.
and then but then you guys are going to get like the anomalies. Like every now and then there is a woman that can do as many push-ups as the male
Yeah.
Marines or whatever the
No.
hell it is,
No, there's
right?
not.
Aren't there Marines? Don't
No.
they have the same athletic
But-
standards in the
No.
Marine Corps?
But if you might get a group of weak guys, one really strong girl. But if you have
Yeah,
all the
the
athletes,
strongest guys.
if you have just
Yeah.
the strongest guys and the strongest girls, the strongest
guys will
oh,
always
yeah.
be physically stronger.
there are fucking freaks out there.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some of these guys in the UFC that fight 3, 4, 5 rounds and don't even get fucking tired.
Wow.
And what kind of incredible shape some of those fucking guys are in.
Amazing.
That's
Amazing.
like some high level shit. And at that level, those men, those like the really high level men, like there's nothing like that. That women can't really keep up with that.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
right.
And that's one of the big accusations against this one woman who is like one of the top women in the world.
Mm-hmm.
She was stripped of her title. Her name is Cyborg, and she's built like a strong dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brian, can you pull up a picture? pull up a picture of Cyborg muscular dude. You wait till you see how scary this chick
love
is.
it.
And
I
she
love
fought
it.
this other chick, Gina Carano, and Gina Carano was
I know her.
beautiful
Yeah.
son of a. I guess her dad's like a famous football player.
Yeah.
You know, beautiful, smart, tough chick, and this Brazilian bitch just ragdolled her.
Really?
It was horrific. It was a vicious,
I love
vicious
it.
beating.
Yeah.
But everybody accuses her of doing steroids.
Doesn't everybody
Okay.
though?
So
or
then
is
she
that-
got caught.
She did get caught.
And she got caught. She tested hot. And when she tested hot, everybody was like, duh. like, I don't know.
Right.
That's one picture of her. There's some other pictures of her, Brian, like while she's celebrating in the cage, because that's her at a weigh-in, and there's a difference between you at a weigh-in and you when you're actually fighting. Because when you're actually fighting, that's when your muscles pump up with blood. Like that one on the far right, you see her, Brian? Right here. Far, yeah, right there.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
right there.
She looks like Kate from
I mean,
Lost
are
mixed
you-
with the Swedish
Are you kidding me?
grandma.
Damn.
Anyway. Anyway, she's
built like LaRon
she's-
Landry.
She's a very, very muscular woman.
Jesus.
She's a tank. And she's scary talented, like as a striker. She's for a woman, she is fucking vicious.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's so okay, and as feminist as I totally am, there's some part of me that I look at her and you're like, why, sweetie?
Well, because she wants to go to war.
And I like that, and I respect
Yeah.
that because I too am an angry fucking. But at the same time, you're like, I just want to protect her. I don't want her to get her face hit.
Oh, she came up with the craziest camp in Brazil. There she is. She came up with the shoot the bucks, and shoot the bucks camp is all these like badass Brazilian Muay Thai guys. They're fucking animals, and she was married to the other dude, Cyborg Evangelista, and he's a fucking beast too. He's an old school MMA legend. So the two of them were just like the scariest couple ever.
Are they breeding super babies?
Oh,
I don't think they're together anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, she's a terrifying woman.
Did you, by the way, get? I told you I got to see a little bit of the fights this weekend when I was in the hotel. I was in Calgary, and I saw you on. And then when Brown beat Swick, it was right.
Yeah.
Which was he was. There was some great. That was a mostly a ground game fight, if I remember right. Like
no, it was. I don't think they went to the. Well, they went to the ground. He got him in a darce, and then he almost got him. I think he almost got him in a triangle and a darce.
I thought Brown almost had him.
Yeah,
I think
in the first round, right?
Right.
The first round, and then the second round he stopped him. Is that what happened, or did they stop him at the end of the first round? Was it the first round?
I think it was. No, I don't remember.
Whatever. I don't remember when exactly it happened, but
and then he knocked him.
What a sensational knockout!
So, yeah, great knockout. But afterwards, did you know or did you see? Did he tell you when Brown was waiting for you? And like what aired on Fox was that he was standing there and he was looking around. He was like, "Hey, Joe." Like this. He was like, "What's up, man?"
Yeah.
And then it cut to commercial.
Well, he even said that to me. Like he looked over at me. It was totally not my call.
Oh, I didn't
like,
assume.
When if you see me in the cage or not, it's like it's not my call. They tell me we want an interview, or they tell me there's no time for an interview.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they say there's no time. And when you do a card like the Fox card, like I think they were already worried about time, and it turned out to be a good worry because the fight, I believe, started after it was supposed to end. So, like, for people that set their DVRs, like, they didn't even get the fight. A lot of people didn't get the fight, apparently.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, no. So that's why. They were behind the time. I don't understand, like, how they produce a show like that. I don't really, like, even go in the truck and peek.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But I know that when, you have, like, live fights, it's really difficult to judge how much actual time you have.
Right.
It could be, like, 3 first-round knockouts, or it could be 3 really long decisions or it could be 3 decisions where a guy gets kicked in the balls and you have to stop the time for 5 minutes. Like, sometimes shit can drag on past where you think it's going to be. So they err on the side of caution, and they cut out interviews when they can.
Yeah. Well, you got to have much tighter time restrictions on a network like Fox than like a normal, obviously a pay-per-view or even like a cable thing, because that's like hard out and ends for other shows that you can't go late into, right?
Yeah, I guess it
You
is.
should just get walkie-talkies.
Between...
Yeah, that would probably solve everything.
Walkie-talkies?
Who would have the walkie-talkie?
Hey, the next fight's on. Come on out,
Who's talking?
No, you don't. I don't think you know what you're talking about, silly bitch.
They should hire you as a consultant.
Talk about, like, misunderstanding
That's a good idea.
what we're saying as if communication is a problem.
Why don't you go into your next production meeting and be like,
I'm just going to bring
Breakthrough.
him, and he's going to talk for me from now
guys,
on.
walkie-talkies?
Can we talk about the guys getting kicked in the balls? Don't they have something to protect their?
Yeah, they
their
do.
veins?
They do. But a lot of guys, they wear the wrong cups.
Oh.
If you just wear like a regular jock strap, it's there's like those things move around, and they're designed for like sports. They're really not designed for dudes kicking you in the dick.
Yeah.
The things that you need when someone's kicking you in the dick, you need a more comprehensive approach.
Yeah.
You can't just be
Been a tight
settling.
satchel.
Swift dick kick.
No.
Yeah, you can't be settling for that softball bullshit cut. Because those kicks are hard as fuck.
Oh.
Inside leg kicks to the dick are one of the most painful things ever. They're so horrible.
You think? Oh, the Muay Thai kick, is that what you're talking about?
I've been kicked in the balls so many times.
How did
For real.
Because
I probably have been kicked in the balls at least 100 times in my life. Like,
Really?
really hard. Yeah,
It's
no
amazing
doubt.
that you can get through those. I mean, because I
Wear
think
a
about
cup, yeah.
Oh, but always with a cup on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think I've ever been kicked without a cup. Thank God.
Oh my gosh! Well, there's videos about that.
Yeah, it's the
Fetish.
cup protects you a little bit. The cup protects you a little bit. It keeps them from rupturing, I think is what it does.
Ooh, rupture! They
Yeah.
can rupture.
Because, guys have lost testicles
Yes.
because they were sparring and they
Okay.
got kicked and they didn't have a cup on.
Then what about when those like people get like the high heels and the ball
Yes.
fetish
Oh,
videos?
yes.
Like, how does that shit just
I
not
don't-
burst open?
I've
like
got to
a grape?
send you.
I don't
You've
know.
played the one before.
Yeah.
I got that. There's
I
a
don't
video.
get that. That shit's frightening.
There's some that are clearly
So funny, though.
faked.
Yeah.
You know, the kick, like you can be like, oh, they've got a cup on or whatever.
Oh, my
but
God.
then I have one, I'll send it to you, where it starts, she's kicking him really hard. And he's got
Spanish,
underwear
right?
on. Yeah, it's in Spanish. And then she's just like, suffer, suffer, I want you to suffer. And you're like, all right, but maybe he has a cup on. And then she takes the underwear off and she fucking... She's like punting a football,
Yeah.
kicking him.
my
Like, bam! And he
with
is
heels
like,
on.
yeah, with heels
With
on.
heels, yeah.
His knees are shaking, and he starts to bleed. He starts bleeding,
Oh, my God.
and he's just taking it like
He likes it, right?
loves
And then
it.
she squeezes them
Yeah,
when they're bleeding.
so hard.
And goes,
And-
sangria! What does she say in Spanish?
No.
You bleed, you bleed!
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my
amazing.
God.
She just
That's
smacking
so
us.
unnecessary.
Oh, I know.
Tell her to stop.
The one I saw was she was taking the heel and she was grinding it like a like a cigarette butt after on a rainy day. You know, like you're just grinding it into this concrete. That's what she was doing to his balls with high heels on.
What is it? How could someone want that?
I don't know.
What is the switch that goes wrong in your brain?
I don't think.
where you want someone to hurt you.
I hate
I
these
think-
dirty balls. I hate them. That's what it's probably.
Make me do bad things.
I don't think they can even want it. I don't think they even.
You don't
want
think
it.
they want it,
No,
but they do it.
I think something leads them to discover not that they want it, but they're like, oh, my reaction to that is not what most people go through, which is
Right.
like, God, that's the worst thing ever. All of a sudden they get that, and something happens inside where it's like they get a rush, some type of adrenaline, and then they're like, oh wow, that there's a pleasure to that
My
too,
peanut
right?
guard.
Yeah, I think
it's
you
a
discover
power
it.
thing, isn't it? An S&M thing. It's being submissive.
Are you watching one right now?
No, I'm scared. Oh, you guys
They
got
get-
me scared.
Here we go. Look,
Relinquishing your
Joe on the
power.
TV.
Oh,
I don't think
I
you're
love
allowed
this.
to show this.
No, I'm just kidding.
You can't show balls, dude.
No, it's blurred out.
Oh, okay.
Is it really for real?
Like he has it spread out like it looks like a frog on a
Brad
on a
over
table.
at Ustream is our friend. Okay?
I'm just kidding.
We can't get him in
This is
trouble.
a high heel commercial.
Oh,
You ever listen to Dan Savage? He has the Savage Love podcast. He's a sex columnist. And he says that those fetishes come from your childhood. Like, let's say if you got a fetish for raincoats, when you were a little kid, you associated some pleasure with your raincoat, right? Like you'd rub against it and maybe that gave you a boner. And then later in life, that's what you associate your sexual needs
So that's why
with.
you have like a latex kind
Right,
of
so
thing.
maybe this kid got kicked in the balls when he was like a little boy by like a little girl that he liked or something. I
and
don't
you got
know.
a boner.
whoa! How many
is
dudes
getting
have gotten
creepy.
kicked in the balls by girls they liked to the point where it became a thing?
There
There
you
you go.
go.
There you go.
How is it possible? How is it
Man.
possible that so many dudes became turned on by the
That's
idea of getting their
every fetish guy, model guy's story. When I was 4, I got kicked in the balls by Molly. and now I've
bitch
had-
turned me like a werewolf, and I became a ball kick fetishist.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, that's gotta hurt.
Do you, what? I don't understand it. It's so painful.
I can't
can't imagine
imagine.
that anybody would want it.
Well, I always feel so
man.
tentative handling Tommy's nuts.
That's so
they're,
nice.
They're so gentle and sweet, and the thought of hurting them.
And I asked for a little more. I could give him a little tug, give him a
Yeah.
little something.
Did you know that the size of a man's testicles, the size of a human's testicles, is proportionate to the promiscuity of the women in his surrounding area?
Wow.
What?
With all primates.
I
The,
like
the,
that.
the size of the testicles rises and falls depending on how big a hooker the girls in your neighborhood are.
My dad must have grew up
I
around some
love
real
it.
sluts then.
Isn't that
dude.
great? You have some giant balls.
My dad's balls are huge.
We were
I
just
saw. I was talking about
this.
last night.
Yeah.
I was like, I saw him. I went into his room and he was like, I think he was putting on underwear. So from behind, I go, Jesus Christ, man! And he was like, What? I go, you got like donkey nuts. He's like, All right, Tommy, like knock it off. Like, I was like, it was the biggest balls I've ever seen. So he must have been around some real whores. That's all interesting.
Well,
they-
it's probably his, not necessarily him, but you
Yeah.
know the generations before him that
Okay.
made him. You know, it's like it becomes a genetic thing, and it all
Right.
comes from being around more
Loose-
promiscuous women.
loose brides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
why
like
chimps
that.
have the biggest balls.
Huge. Oh, right.
Chimps have enormous balls.
'Cause-
Their dicks aren't even as big as ours.
'Cause female
but their
chimps are down
balls
to fuck.
way bigger. Their balls are so big.
Yeah.
Chimps are down
Now-
to fuck all day.
DTF.
What's the other monkey?
Are they
that,
Bonobos.
Bonobos.
Yeah.
Well, they're an actual cousin of the chimp. It's
Yeah, I
it's
like
a
that.
separate
They masturbate.
type of chimp. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they don't just masturbate. They do everything except mother and son. Mother,
Really?
yeah, mother and son is the only thing they don't do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about that on the podcast. Someone had speculated that might because they had figured out that there was like bad things happen to the baby when the mother has sex with
Oh,
the
they
son.
like figured
Right.
it out
Yeah.
basically. Wow.
Maybe, but the problem with that is they're fucking all day. They're fucking everybody. Like,
Right, and
they
isn't
would
it
have
to,
to like really be sure.
isn't it to kind of they use sex as a social tool
Yes.
to smooth over differences?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
homosexual sex.
We,
Yeah,
So
it's-
great.
They
Dude on
they
dude
just
chimp.
they just fuck each other. They go crazy, and they're very rarely violent with each other. It's really
because, but
fascinating.
because of that, you think?
But yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how that evolved. Like, how does that evolve?
It's incredible.
It's weird. How do you
Yeah.
get to a point where you got like this weird society of like loving chimps that just fuck all the time?
Yeah.
And then we look at them like they're sick.
Right.
right.
They're the only primates that we know of that don't kill each other.
Yeah.
Or don't kill each other a lot. I mean, maybe, there's probably some aberrations even in the bonobo world where some shit goes down.
Right.
Someone's got to regulate.
Yeah.
Come in
Some
with a big-
bonobos' dicks don't work.
Now, I heard somewhere that before we had traditional marriage, that it actually made sense for the woman to bang as many dudes in the village so that the paternity of her children was unknown, and she would actually have more men to protect the offspring. Like, that to me would make sense if I had all of you guys, right?
Jesus.
Tommy, Redban, Joe, and that guy all doing me, and then
Right.
I make a baby. Whose baby is it?
Right,
I don't know,
'cause
but
you
Joe
all
Rogan's
want-
going to defend it, and you.
We all have
and-
to take care
It's
of
going to
it.
be my baby.
They become community babies.
If you guys want to set that up before
McKenna.
I leave, it's fine.
Terrence McKenna
My
always
shit sinks to the bottom.
Terrence McKenna always thought that in our distant history that it's likely that we had these polygamous groups of people that like did psychedelic drugs together. Like his idea of like the long forgotten paradise was like these, back where he believed like, civilization was first being created. He believes that those civilizations that came up, they were all just eating mushrooms, tripping their balls off,
Yeah.
and fucking each other.
Right. Yeah.
And then Club Med came.
That took a long time. I think your timeline might be a little bit off, but that
Sounds like a fun time.
But that
McKenna's world.
But this idea was that at one time there was enough people doing ego suppressing things, like
Yeah.
eating mushrooms. Like it's all like really speculative. There's the idea of trying to figure out how many different cultures were doing psychedelic drugs when they came up with their religion, when they came up with a lot of their ideas about life and studying the cosmos. Like a lot of those cultures that really got heavily into that stuff were also really heavily into psychedelic drugs. Like the Mayans, like making their crazy fucking calendars. The Mayans did a lot of mushrooms, man.
I didn't know that.
Oh
didn't know that.
yeah, they ate mushrooms and raw chocolate together. There's some plant that had like an LSD like effect. They also took this. I don't remember what it was, but I went on a tour of Chichen Itza with this guy who was a professor, and it was really cool. Like you can hire him as a guide, and he was so knowledgeable, man. It was just really interesting.
Yeah.
Him talking about all the different traditions and why this was created and that was created. But he took me to this room. He's like, this is where they did their rituals. They were taking some sort of a psychedelic plant that had an LSD like effect. Like this was just like a culture of super duper trippers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you see
That's great.
when you see what they built, you're like, you
Yeah.
could not have been of sound mind when you came up with this shit.
It's not logical.
Not at
their
all.
Structures.
Well, they got to some weird places, weirder than anybody, where they fucking killed people so often that they had like spots.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna kill them right here. This is the altar. They had altars where they would sacrifice people.
Sure. I saw one. I didn't not in Mexico. I went to in Peru. I went to Machu Picchu a couple times, and they had the like sacrificial room where they showed you they were like on this table. Just people would voluntarily be sacrificed.
But what's the utility
that
socially?
you have to be high as fuck for, I think.
Oh.
But what's the point? Is that the point to satisfy the gods?
Yeah.
You take a virgin, or you take
think
the
so.
strongest
There
guy,
was
or whatever.
there was a period in when the Aztecs when they killed 80,000 people, some insane number of people over like just a period of 4 days. When there was one of the temples that was being built there, they apparently, this is like it's disputed whether or not they killed 80,000 or whether they killed whether it was only really 10,000 people, exaggerated. Like there's some dispute as to how many people were actually killed, but if the number they believe is 80,000.
Jesus.
And
That's
this was
incredible.
in 1487. The Aztec king, when they completed one of their pyramids, he killed every prisoner that like was part of the construction.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they
That sucks.
they fucking built this shit from him.
What a dick.
Built this shit for him, and then he kills some insane amount of people over the course of 4 days.
I bet that's a lot of voluntarily dying too. You know?
I don't know.
I think so.
This was
You think they
this
liked
is
it?
so crazy that like Duncan told me about this first, and then I read it and I couldn't believe it, and then I told a bunch of different people. I go, "Did you know that this happened?" And I've had people go, "Fuck, it did." No, it didn't. Like walk like totally incredulous, walk
Yeah.
away from me. I've had to send them emails. I was like that when I won that hunting show.
Yeah.
With Steve Ranella, great guy, man. Really,
Yeah.
but really intelligent guy, very well-read guy. And I told him about it. He didn't believe it either. He's like, "There's no way." I'm like, "I'm telling you, I'll send you the thing." When you send someone the actual, different stories and depictions of this time in the 1400s, and you see that number, 80,000, can you even wrap your head
No,
around that?
No.
that's huge.
They're not doing this with guns, folks. Okay,
Right.
wrap your head around
Right.
80,000 people getting cut to death
Fucking the Rose Bowl.
in 4 days.
Fucking
That's what it
slaughtered.
is.
It's
It's the
crazy.
Rose Bowl. You're right. Oh my God. Oh my
crazy.
God. It is.
Everybody
Holy
there
shit.
has their throat slit and their heart pulled out of their chest.
Dude,
It's nuts.
What a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, they took shit to the next level. Again, massive mushroom eaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trippers, big time trippers. It's weird when you combine like a lot of the interesting things about those cultures, a lot of the interesting discoveries. There's very strange use of like an hieroglyphic-like language that it took us a long time to figure out. Like they still work on some of the different, more complex character things in order and debate like what exactly it means. Like there's a great documentary, I think it's from Nat Geo, called Decoding the Maya. I believe that's what it's called. And it's really interesting to see these guys, these scholars trying to figure out what the fuck this was.
Yeah.
This crazy language.
Well, the other thing that blows your mind every time, if you see something Mayan, Aztec, or the Incans, is when you see what they built, you can take today's greatest architect and be like, how would you do this here? And they don't even know where to start.
Right.
Like how these things were built, perfectly constructed, and stones that weigh
Yeah, how
like
did they
20
do
tons
it?
are laid on top of another stone and fits into it.
Yeah.
They have theories. They're like, well, we think that they would pour water down here, and then
Yeah.
you're like, how many people would it take to move this? And they're like, oh, like 8,000, and then
Yeah.
he probably put it over here. And you're like, none of it makes sense.
Anybody that like there's a people that will try to debunk anything.
Yeah.
And anytime you bring up anything that seems even remotely paranormal, like any like ghosts or fucking aliens,
yeah.
anything you remotely paranormal, they automatically try to go, look, there's no evidence for that. There's no evidence.
Yeah.
When that's all well and good till you get to giant stones.
Right.
And there's something about moving giant stones. They're like, listen, man, you got to explain that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to explain that. You can't just say, oh, well, they did that, and they figured it out, and they cut it out of this quarry right here. Look, we have one.
Yeah.
There's one of my favorite pieces of evidence is they show this one of these giant fucking big stone pillars. They were carving out of this one giant piece of granite, and they stopped in the middle of the carving, but because of the fact that it was like partially completed, you could see the method of shaping it.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of interesting. Like they learned a lot from that. So they believe that they did it with stones, and they believe that they did it slowly, like it was a real painstaking process of slowly chipping away to get these. But how the fuck did they move it?
Yeah.
You got to tell me how they moved
There's
it.
no
all
cranes.
right?
There's no
Yeah.
bulldozers.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
we have to assume that they had some incredible knowledge of leverage and moving things, and they figured out how to get things under it and leverage it and move it somehow. But to pretend that that's not a mystery is really kind of disingenuous.
Yeah, it is.
But don't you, I find that, I mean, also too, human thinking changes over time. And since the Enlightenment period and like the scientific revolution, we've discredited anything that's remotely ooky and mysterious.
Well, that's because there's so much ooky, mysterious stuff that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's such a problem. There's so much bullshit out there. Whether it's ghost bullshit or UFO bullshit, there's so many nutty motherfuckers with fake Bigfoot stories
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are just muddying up the waters.
Right.
There's so
That's true.
much bullshit.
Yeah.
So, of course, a smart person is going to gravitate towards the scientific and
Right.
more likely explanation for
Yeah.
almost everything.
That's very true.
But it's not explaining everything.
But it's not. That's the thing. Is
Science
it's
cannot.
it's leaving things that
Right.
are valid. You know,
Yeah.
not the bullshit story, but it's leaving the real thing also like unexplored or unexplained, and people just go like, nah, whatever.
Well, what science can't figure out is emotions and artwork. And why do we like beautiful things? And why do I love hearing certain songs? Why does it change the way my body feels? You know, what does it feel like to kiss somebody that you love? Is that really just a bunch of chemicals that's floating around in your brain? What is going on there? What can science measure that?
Right.
You know, the emotional human aspect of life is the one thing that science can't really truly define yet. But who knows, man? We might be able to break it down one day to ones and zeros, and you just program
Oh,
the
no.
right ones and zeros in your head, and you're happy all the time.
Let's do it. Let's keep
You
dreaming,
know?
man. Let's dream all day.
You ever talk to someone like who has a problem with like normal consciousness, and they need something like an SSRI or something like that, and then when they take it, they talk about how like they finally can like see life.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be able to engineer that in people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
I
true.
guess we're doing it right now
the
by people taking
chemicals, you're
pills.
saying? Like
Yeah,
just
it's
the meat and the cheese of it. And
the levels of certain things that make your consciousness operate. Certain things like serotonin and dopamine, like the
Right,
levels of
right.
these things, like how these things are produced by them. They're going to be able to manipulate that shit,
Oh yeah.
and they're going to be able to manipulate your mood. Like you're going to be like way happier.
You're also going to be
You
able
know?
to program, or they'll be able to program the genes that are more desirable and leave out things that
Yeah.
are not.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
Well, that's one of the things I always felt like. If you look at those, the standard image of the alien, you know, the gray-eyed, the big gray skin,
Yeah,
big-eyed
sure.
alien. They're like real flimsy bodies, big giant heads. If you look at them and you look at us and you look at a gorilla, they look more like us than a gorilla. Okay?
Yeah.
They do.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that might be what we're gonna do. We're gonna get rid of all the whole sex organ thing,
And just
we're
design
gonna
a bunch of-
we're gonna design these like bulletproof bodies that can see through walls, and we're just gonna take that on.
Big
And
heads.
then we're gonna
Mhm.
reproduce. Well, they're gonna be able to figure out a way to manipulate your genetics, and there's never gonna be a dumb kid born again.
Sure.
That'd be
We'll
great.
develop a new
There's gonna
language
be
too.
just dumb people, and your fucking kid's gonna be 5, going, "Hey, stupid, why are you doing it like this?"
right,
You have
right.
this fucking super genetic freak kid at 5 who already knows 3 languages.
We'll stop speaking English at some point, or we'll
Just
have a new
thoughts.
language, like Junata, and that'll mean everything.
Well, no, we'll just communicate with our consciousness.
Oh, right.
We don't even have to speak anymore.
I wonder how much different the world would be if we all had the same language.
I know.
Makes a huge difference.
I wonder how much,
That'd be great.
confusion when it comes to like, especially like with things like that are going on. Excuse me, things that are going on in the Middle East.
Yeah.
You know, I don't speak Israeli. I don't speak Hebrew. I don't know what the Palestinians are saying. I don't know what the Saudis are saying. I
Right.
don't know what the Iranians are saying. I can't hear that. I don't understand it. So
Farsi
we're
and Arabic,
reliant
yeah.
on some. Like, have you ever seen like some of the translations that were attributed to Ahmadinejad Is that his name? The Iranian
Ahmadinejad. Yes.
There's like people take like things out of context that he said and make it like much more inflammatory. I mean, he says plenty of inflammatory shit,
yeah.
but they manipulate things, and we don't know about that. We don't know about that unless you really go and look. And if he talked English, we would know.
Oh yeah,
motherfucker, learn some English.
Yeah.
It's very
The
true.
other thing-
Right now, Iranians and fucking listen to this podcast in Iran like, bitch, I thought you were cool.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too: is
Just
that
kidding, folks.
it
A
always
universal language. We should learn Farsi.
There
How
you
about
go.
that?
Universal language.
It always blows my mind too, because it brings to the point when people say the word fluent, when they say they're fluent in another language,
Yes.
and you realize what it really means to be fluent. Because people can speak a lot of a language and still miss tons of
absolutely.
things, misunderstand things, and definitely not like I speak pretty damn good Spanish from growing up in a Spanish-speaking household, and I've watched like court shows where they have an interpreter for somebody, and I've been like, that's not what he said, and that like the person said it, like that. I've watched translations like UN things where you'll be like, oh, that person speaks, let's say, fluent Spanish, and you think you're like, no, they speak great English too, but it's actually like they speak 90% good English and can miss a word, an intention. It can be shuffled around, and like when you misunderstand something by a word, or I'll have it, in Spanish, where I'll like you think I'm pretty much on point, but you miss just a little thing, a little detail that you don't miss when it's either your native language or you're so immersed in a language that you truly are fluent in it.
Right. You're thinking while you're
Right.
talking.
Oh yeah, and like I mean, if you live in a country where if you live in your second language country, you can over time I think really speak tremendous whatever that language might be. You know what I mean? Like once when you're surrounded by that language 24/7. But
yeah.
short of that, like you really do miss things.
You
And then
do.
I'm saying that's also what leads to misunderstandings, lead to argument,
Right.
leads to confrontation and violence sometimes because you misunderstood something. There wasn't even a disagreement. You just didn't
Right.
say it right or understand it right.
Yeah, yeah. There's apparently there's a new app, and you can talk to it, and if you're talking in whatever language, it translates it back to you in real time in English.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't. Do you know what I'm talking about, Brian?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, have you heard of this?
No.
God damn it, I have to find about this. I have to Google search it now because somebody told me about it and I haven't looked into it. But this is apparently something either
That's
they're working
interesting.
on and it's going to be released soon or it's out now. App that
Because there is,
translates.
like with my parents who are Hungarian speakers, and I can understand stuff. But even when I speak to my father in English, right? Like he has a whole different understanding of English.
Yeah, of course.
As I do, and a different like when he speaks Hungarian, I still don't really understand.
Yeah.
Because of the different time and space that we grew up learning a language in.
Yeah.
Like even generational between your father who is American. Like you didn't grow up with the same TV shows that you did or know the same
Right.
references.
Yeah,
Like,
you can
it's
miss.
almost
You can
impossible.
misunderstand each other even then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a real thing. Okay, it's an app that translates languages during real-time phone calls.
Wow.
So you can call someone and you can be talking to someone and in real fucking time, whatever they say in French or
And
Spanish,
it translates it to you.
it translates it to you in real time.
Wow.
Wow,
That's incredible.
that's nuts.
Dude, we should try it.
I know.
Yeah, we should. But we don't know any other languages, so we wouldn't know what the fuck.
I could call a Japanese girl.
No, you don't know shit. Son.
Dude, have you ever been to? There's this Kings of Taiwan website. Did you see that tweet I did today?
No,
it's,
no, what
It's
is it?
Kings of Taiwan. I was on Amazon last night looking up books, and it said like where it says recommends to you, and one was recommends to you Taiwan hookers. And it was a Kindle book.
What?
And so I was like, what the fuck is this book? And I started reading through it, and then I was like, oh, wait, this is from a website. Somebody just took it and made it a book on Amazon. So then I started going on this website, and the next thing I know, I'm looking deep in this like report of how to get hookers in Taiwan and how there's like it's accepted there
Whoa.
and how like it is so interesting. But then I found myself like on Orbitz, like how expensive is it going to go to Taiwan? Like what am I doing?
You were thinking about going to Taiwan?
I was
Get some
lost,
hookers.
dude. I was lost
Yeah.
on. Sometimes you just get lost on that barrel on the internet.
Yeah,
where
you
you
get
just not
really-
just keep on going.
Fall down that hole, man.
You were thinking about actually going to Taiwan?
Well, it looked really nice. I was looking at videos on YouTube, and it looked like really pretty there and
Dude,
stuff.
they'll
And then
put
it
you in
people were
prison.
saying it's like it's better than Vegas. You know, like
Wow.
it's like way better than Vegas.
But
It's-
don't they put
please.
you in prison just for smoking pot there?
No, you
Really
just don't do
careful.
drugs or anything. I mean, you follow the rules. They have articles on that website about all the laws
the
there
laws,
and
yeah.
what to do, and where to stay, and
Wow.
what soapies to get.
The
Soapies?
Shaolin.
Who has the youngest?
Dang,
No.
would be dangerous.
What's a soapy?
Soapy.
So you guys never been to Taiwan?
No, not
No.
yet. We're planning on going for the Vegas experience pretty soon. though.
for the better than Vegas
Right.
experience. It's just really hard to get people to leave the country,
Yeah,
especially now.
Yeah.
You know, like, but if you're looking for a place with really good hookers,
do it, man.
Yeah, that's
No,
what
I mean, not
this
for
is
the
not,
hookers.
we're not the world champs.
And report back to us. Yeah, by no means.
I meant more just for the nightlife. It seems like if it was, it just seems crazy there.
We
Who
just
sang that song? I love the nightlife. I love the boogie.
good jam.
Oh, the disco ride.
Who sang that?
We just had Yoshi on our
Oh,
show.
powerful Yoshi.
And
Talk
he's-
about a man who's seen too much.
Dude.
Yeah.
he believes in strictly the hooker experience.
Oh, poor Yoshi.
And
Yoshi is our friend.
he said
who was-
Frankfurt is great, and so
Yeah.
is Amsterdam.
Frankfurt. Mm-hmm. Is that in Germany?
That is.
Yeah.
Yoshi is a stand-up comedian friend of ours who always worked for porn companies.
Yes.
So we would be at the comedy store, and Yoshi would roll up with like a box of DVDs. And he was always giving, "Oh, Asian Sensation, check it."
Oh, yeah.
No, take your DVD.
Yeah.
I think we had a box
Thanks for
of
giving me stuff to beat off to.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, we did.
for a long
Part
time,
of my
years.
collection was secondhand Yoshi.
Right.
It was DVDs that Yoshi had given people that they gave to me.
With fingerprints and shit?
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
it was all
That's
fetish.
Secondhand
Yeah.
Yoshi?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that fetish stuff is strange as fuck. Like dudes who like jerk off on girls' feet and shit.
Yeah, oh
Like,
yeah, there's a
yeah.
lot of
all
that.
that weirdness.
My favorite was Specs Appeal,
Oh, yeah.
which was just girls in glasses.
In glasses.
That was
And
fun.
guys would always be like, here it goes. And all over the glasses. And she's like, you got on my glasses. I can't. I'll try to go back to reading now. And then they would always try to read their next sentence.
My friend got she does bondage stuff, and she just got a letter the other day that was like, hey, I want to be your gimp. I just can't, I have to wear a mask, but you can like peel off pieces of my arm and eat it if you want to. You could do anything you want to.
What? This is a person that you know? She said that to you?
No, somebody wrote a letter, an email to this person I know.
Oh. Oh, okay.
And it was
Oh,
like the
I
most,
see.
and he attached a photo, and it's so horrible to look at. You look at it and go, wow, that's a serial killer right there.
Yeah.
That guy right there is a serial killer.
Ooh, you know what they say about people that have like this thing where they're always hurting themselves? You know, like they're like cut themselves or pin. Like some people like have like crazy like genital piercings and shit like that.
Yeah.
They think that some people that do like really freaky shit might have a problem where they're not experiencing pain the right way.
Oh, that's interesting.
Really?
Yeah, and it leads them
Oh.
to more and more extreme, things to like really jolt themselves and feel it.
Yeah. Well, some people clearly don't have the same pain threshold that, like, I would
Yeah.
say the majority of people have. You see some people do things and you're like,
Right.
how the fuck did that not hurt you more than anything?
Well, you know that guy that got fucked to death by the horse?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
guy.
years ago.
That guy had piercings all over his balls.
Yeah.
Oh.
His balls were like a 3-ring binder. I'm not joking. He just click clack, click clack, click clack, click clack. So like this guy was he was a straight up lokester. It wasn't just getting horses to fuck him in the ass. He was like
Right.
running metal through his ball bag.
Right.
Horses.
He's
Horses fuck.
crazy. That horse fucked him to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
remember
craziest
that.
thing, too, about the horse fucking and the being into that is the horse dick is second to the horse thrust. Because an animal thrust, like from a thrust from a horse,
yeah.
is impossible. You can't.
It's
You could
insane.
line up 8 people and be like, "Don't let them push," and that horse
So
is
goddamn
fucking through
strong.
you. Yeah, man.
All they eat is grass too. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if grass is a solution the whole time?
To everything?
Healthy as fuck
I
and just
love it.
run for 100 miles.
Yeah.
Horses just eat grass and they're yoked.
Yeah.
It's
It's a good diet, right?
They're so swole.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any
so
animal more
swole.
swole than a horse?
I was about to say
Every
they're
horse.
like thoroughbreds, and then I remembered they are.
They are thoroughbreds. Like a thoroughbred horse. Like
That's
there's no
silly.
animal in
Yeah.
the animal kingdom that is more like yoked.
Yeah.
And they're fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you see them, you're like, that looks like a majestic.
Yeah, it's a
draw-
majestic
yeah.
animal.
Gorgeous.
The fact you can actually ride it and get it
Yeah.
to do shit. Is
I
And
know.
with you on its back, it's like, how's 35 miles an hour sound? You know,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right.
Well,
I
you
don't
know,
fuck
though,
with horses,
the real
so.
problem, though, is like the people that want to do those like jumping things and all that other kind of crazy shit with the
Yeah.
horses, like those sports.
Oh, yeah.
the
They kill the
equestrian
fucking-
sports.
yeah.
People die during those things.
Yeah.
That's how Christopher
yeah.
Reeve got fucked up.
And the
Yeah.
horses get fucked
Yeah.
up a lot, too.
Yeah, I don't get that.
No,
I
dude.
just feel like that's a scary proposition right there. You're planning on this animal listening to you. What if it pulls a
Yeah.
muscle?
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
I'm out.
That shit's. If you understand like bodies, you know that animals they strain things, they break legs, they twist ankles.
Yeah.
Shit goes wrong. If shit's going wrong while that animal does that, you're attached to that fucking thing, and it's gonna spike you into the ground with all of its weight on top of you.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck riding a horse.
Fuck riding a horse.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Fuck a
about
horse.
it at all, dude.
I got bucked once. I would never
Give me
go back.
virtual knuckles, girl. I'm with you. Fuck that.
Fuck
Like I think
that.
they're beautiful, and
They are.
I wouldn't mind riding a horse like a trail horse and
Right.
stuff like that, as long as like it's cool horse that some guy had and taken care of. Like that this is like an easygoing horse. It's always been loved.
Or like
and
old
treated
Millie,
with respect.
the older one who's
Yeah.
been hanging out for 70 years.
I'm totally down with that, but the real problem is these fucking equestrian events. We got them jumping over shit.
Yeah.
Like, woo.
Well, not only that, to me, it's not respect
terrifying.
for this beautiful, magnificent beast. I mean,
Sort of, but
fuck
it is kinda
you
cool to watch
for
him
not-
jump.
It is, but I mean, have respect. Like you said, this
Yeah.
animal also has a mind of its own. How do
Yeah.
you know what it's going to do?
It's tired of your
How do you know it
bullshit.
wants
I've
to
been-
do that bullshit? You think it
Yeah.
wants to do
It
that?
doesn't want to do that bullshit.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want someone on your back.
Especially because the animal can clearly see that there's nothing to the left of these fucking boards and nothing to the right. It's like, why am I jumping when I can just go to the left?
Right.
I am.
And
So
I've seen that. I've
Yeah.
seen that I've seen footage of that before where the
Yeah.
horse goes like,
The horse is like, listen,
Sorry.
stop, stupid.
Yeah.
Why am I jumping this, man? What am I, your
We got
trained
options,
monkey?
man. we got options. I'm going around.
Yeah, this is fucking stupid. Why should I jump? You're on my back.
We should have a jumping contest. Just us. Who do you think jumps highest?
The highest?
Not me.
I think Joe.
Brian, are you,
Joe.
are you broken today? Something? You want some
Yeah,
new-
I'm broken. You gave me
new
that
pain
joint,
pills?
whatever the fuck was in that joint.
I told you, one hit.
I
Do you
did
have-
take one.
Do you have a good vertical?
I could probably jump decent, not like nothing
That
shocking.
is the one of all like the the physical things and attributes that you can desire. Like I wish I could do this. Or, you
Yeah.
know, when you're with somebody, especially if they're your size and they have an amazing vertical leap, it's the fucking most fascinating thing to watch them. To watch it because it's totally natural. Like I've been with people my height that can literally jump 15 inches higher than I can, and you're just like, holy shit! And it's the thing I was like, man, and it's not from, and the people that I've seen them do it wasn't through like by training every day. But it was just that's how high I could jump.
I jump
It's
every
a
day. I
Yeah,
just
it was.
stand
I jump all day. No, it was just a natural,
Really?
hereditary, like or whatever. They were just born being able to jump through the fucking roof. And I think it's the
So
coolest
personally,
thing.
that's what Bo Jackson was like.
That's one of the most amazing physical specimens in recorded time. Is Bo Jackson.
He's still got records in the NFL Combine. I
Man.
think he still holds the record for the 40.
Does he really?
I think so.
Watching that guy. See, that was like watching a human horse.
Yeah.
Like that. It really was. That guy is an unbelievable athlete. Like,
Somebody who
Talk
wrote
football.
a book about him was talking about. I wish I could remember the guy's name. I should Google it.
look up Bo Jackson highlights from football when he was at Auburn or when he played for the. If he didn't get his hip injured, there is absolutely no telling what that guy would have done. He was so fast that he was like, he was like the fastest guy on the team, but it was on like a 225 or 230 pound body, so he could truck people too, like just lower his shoulder and just he would deliver hits. He would give a concussion out with the football in his hand. Wow, just unbelievable physical specimen, Bo
Jesus
Jackson.
Christ.
And he played professional baseball just because he liked baseball too. Just one of those guys who was like, oh, how about I'll also play another professional sport
And be
that
awesome at it.
and be awesome at it, and just home runs. I remember watching him. You ever see a guy because I saw him do this for sure. There's footage of this. Bo Jackson breaking a baseball bat over his leg.
his knee.
And like
He would do it like it was nothing.
It was like a twig, man. He was like, boop, like he was breaking a candy bar. Be like,
Yeah.
you have half, I'll take half.
Yeah.
Like he would just snap that shit. Fuck, I struck out. And you're
Apparently,
like,
he
oh
was
my
always
God.
able to do freaky shit. This guy was talking about that when he was young, he used to be able to jump over cars. He could
Yeah.
jump over the hood of a car.
Yeah, I saw a guy do that.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's like one of the things I was talking about. I
Oh
saw a guy do
God.
that who was smaller than me, shorter than me, you know? A total fucking just yoked dude. He played running back. He actually broke California state records in high school. And he did that. He jumped over the hood of a car. And I was like, that is amazing to watch. I mean, amazing. And
It's crazy.
to watch a guy like that sprint, you're like, oh, dude, I could run forever and never sprint like that.
Jesus.
Like that's, yeah.
Yeah, there's a kid that I saw on a video who jumped off a roof, did a backflip off a roof. And it was like a 3-story or 2-story building. It was the most ridiculous
Whoa.
shit I've ever seen. And the kid made it and lived, and it was fine.
If you want to see like that's incredible. If you want to see like a crazy other level like type of running athlete, like you just see like, oh, this is another gear that they have that other people just don't have.
Yeah.
If you look at there's this guy that plays football for like he plays for the Bills, I think now. His name's CJ Spiller, and when he was at Clemson, there's highlights of him like where he would stop in the middle of the field. And there's like 5 guys surrounding him, and then he just turns it on again. But he goes to like 5th gear before they get to first, you know? And
Right.
you're like, that's like he just got to his gear so much faster than them. But those are all like dynamite
athletes.
yeah, you know. And you're just like that doesn't make sense. Like or like Devin Hester is this guy who he plays for the Bears. He's you know a well-known returner, and if you watch his highlights, the thing about him is that he hits. They say like. There are guys who have faster 40 times than him, but he hits his highest speed immediately.
Whoa.
So it's like he gets the ball, and then he's just like, "Here, I'm running as fast as I can the first second I have the ball." Whereas everybody else has
Ramps
to
up.
Yeah, and you're just like, "Holy shit, he is!" Like he hit 5th gear immediately, and you
So
see
his
the other guys
off the gate explosion is
what's
fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
There's no even playing field.
Yeah.
The idea that it's an even playing field when it comes to human beings is crazy.
Yeah.
Just by looking at the different sizes of us. There's a reason why we need weight classes, okay?
Sure.
And the variables inside of weight classes, those are also pretty extreme with some athletes. Some people just aren't that coordinated. They don't move that well. They don't have that kind of power. And then there's guys that can just learn things like immediately. And they can run like a gazelle, and they can do shit to you that you can't do to them. It's
Yeah.
and they were out of the box like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's guys that are out of the box athletes.
Did you ever think about how unlikely the total package of LeBron James
This
is?
is crazy.
That is a 0.001% package.
A crackhead
6'8",
gives birth to him. How
Two
about we
Is that
start
right?
there? Yes, his mom
Really?
was a
Was she a
crackhead.
crackhead? I didn't know
Yes. Not only is his mom a crackhead, his mom allegedly was fucking one of his teammates.
Oh, that's right.
Is that true?
Hot sauce in my bag. Delonte West.
Is that true?
Yes.
He bagged.
Delonte West, man. I think
So
that's his name.
his
sauce in my
mom
bag.
allegedly had a substance abuse problem. Okay, she gives birth to this giganti super athlete.
It's amazing.
Who moves like a panther, like
Yeah.
a giant panther. You know, if LeBron James was in MMA, do you know how many people that guy would be fucking up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my!
If you train that
God.
guy,
if that guy wanted to fight, if he had the will to fight,
yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, in high school, he was all-state tight end playing football because people always talk about, can you imagine this son of a bitch
Right.
playing football? He stopped playing, I think, after his sophomore season. It was all-state, like already like, this is going to be somebody you're going to have to deal with.
Right.
And stopped playing. But you look at that body, 6'8", 270, and he has
Imagine
like
if
no
Jordan,
body. Oh.
Jordan learned how to fight.
You know, stupid.
Oh, right.
I thought
Yeah.
LeBron did play football this whole time.
Oh, Jesus
What
Christ.
team is he on?
You didn't
That's all
know?
I know.
LeBron James.
Oh, wait.
Basketball.
Here's
He's
what
a
I know
basketball
about
player.
sports is whatever Tom tells me.
You don't watch
I'm not-
anything
no.
outside of that?
No, I like tennis. I used to
What
watch
about like
that.
ladies golf? Do you stick
Yes,
go to that?
every
Joe,
day.
she isn't gay. Come on, man.
Is that the case? That I've heard
Ladies
that
golf.
said before.
What's that?
That
Dinah
ladies
Shore?
golf is like a lot of gay chicks.
I think it's a.
Probably.
I think there's a little bit
which I
of a
support 100%.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Always do.
Look
there's
at the poles. Look at
definitely-
the sticks they use.
There's definitely.
What?
He's trying today, boy. He's trying.
There's definitely
He just loves anger on his Twitter. That's what it is.
gay
I like
golfers.
anger in my Twitter.
I don't know who watches ladies golf. I'm not sure what the audience
They are
is.
amazing
Ladies
golfers.
that are
Are there ladies
golfers.
golfers?
Yeah.
So essentially,
Yeah.
just a bunch of lesbos
Yeah.
sitting around staring at each other.
They are. It's amazing how
Good
good
for
they are,
them.
though.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Well, it's one of the few groups that lesbians have been able to really grow. Like lesbians can't. They have a hard time getting a community.
Yes.
You know, like gay
I've heard
dudes
this.
have massive communities
Yeah.
all over the country. Like
Yes.
there's parts of the Tenderloin, and
Yes.
if you go to the Santa Monica area,
Castro and
yeah,
San Francisco.
look-
West Hollywood.
yeah, West Hollywood, Santa Monica Boulevard.
That's
That
where
is-
the
that is a
dudes
goddamn
are
gay
at.
area.
There are dudes there.
They've all conglomerated. They
Yeah.
know where the party's at.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
yeah.
And you
Miami.
drive by. Yeah, but that place on Hollywood Boulevard. The West on Santa Monica Boulevard, that West Hollywood spot, that is the gayest spot on earth.
I'm sorry, which one? Let's
That
what's
area,
it
that whole
called?
area
Just
while
that
you're
whole-
driving.
Yes, yes,
That's
it
Santa
is.
Monica.
Is
yeah.
that Club Rage still there? As if
I think- yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't go every week.
That's the flagship club. I
That's the
believe.
one that's on the big. That was the one
Yes,
that.
I think.
You know where Doheny is? You know
Uh-huh.
where I was
Yeah.
coming down Doheny, and I'm at the red light there, and it was a Saturday night, and it was fucking beautiful weather, and everybody was
Yeah.
out, and it
Yeah.
was a gay party on the streets, man.
Yeah.
And there was these two dudes, and they both had their fingers looped into each other's belt loops,
Nice.
and they were like interlocked, like kind of scissoring and
Yeah.
just grinding dicks together. And I was like, I can only watch this a certain amount of time before some gay slips into me. I gotta get out of here. Like this, it was like a fucking bomb had been, ignited, and I had to get outside the
A
blast
dude bomb.
radius. And it's like there's a gay bomb here.
But they're so
run.
happy. They're
Oh, they
so
were happy as fuck.
Joy. Well, we used to
Yeah.
live next to a bear bar in Silver Lake, so you'd have to walk past the bear bar
The
to
best
get to
is-
Trader Joe's.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa! That's a specific type of
Oh,
gay
it's
bar.
so wonderful. And so, Tuesday nights is like what
Rim
was-
Job Tuesdays.
Rim Job Tuesdays.
They have the big sign out front. It's Rim Job Tuesdays.
And they had a
That's
huge
hilarious.
rooster in the back, and these guys just partied.
They partied
loved
hard.
life.
And you'd hear you drive by. You could be having the most quiet, lame kind of night. You're like, there's nothing going on.
Yeah,
And then as you
Sunday.
pulled up, you're like, oh, there's some dicks grinding going on right now. And you're like, neighborhood is alive right
No,
now.
and the best part, there was a security guard that would stand outside.
Oh, yeah.
But because he was in front of a gay bar, you didn't know if it was just a costume. Like the first few times, you're
you
like,
see him, you're like, that
Come
guy's
on.
going all out tonight. And he's like, no, I'm the security guy. He had a mustache and his little.
A mustache.
Yeah.
There's very few that pull off the John Stossel.
Yeah.
That thick upper mustache.
Sure.
Stossel.
They commit to that,
That's
man.
a strange one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I always wonder that because people usually mock the mustache, or they rock the ironic mustache. But in the-
Movember.
And
yeah.
then stir stash.
Yeah.
But in the gay community, it's like, yo, fucking, I'm down.
Yeah.
Are you?
I saw a guy the other day. It was beautiful. He had Timberlands on, and he had cut off jean shorts, and he had one of those leather scally caps on, and he had a jean jacket that was sleeveless.
Nice.
Love
He
it.
was fucking
Exemplary.
ridiculous.
That's like-
and this was right after I worked in San Francisco with Greg Fitzsimmons.
Yeah.
Greg Fitzsimmons fucking killed me. He got on stage and he goes, "This is the last city where there's real faggots." You can see a guy with leather pants and a
Right.
handlebar mustache. Oh my
that's
god,
hilarious.
it fucking crushed too because it was so true. He
Yeah.
goes, these unabashed animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fucking
They're
funny.
really
If you- that guy-
aggressively gay
I
guys.
love
That
it,
you
yeah.
described, if Cock was a company, that's the chairman and CEO of Cock.
Timberlands
in charge.
on with the fluffy socks. The socks
Oh,
are
yeah.
kind of scrunched down,
Yeah.
and the Timberlands are open, and then he's got cut off jean shorts and a jean
Yeah.
jacket.
Jesus.
Sure.
He was just so gay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sleeveless.
San Francisco?
Ah,
Is that
no,
what you said? Yeah.
this was
Oh.
in Santa Monica Boulevard.
Oh, Santa Monica. Okay.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh,
yeah.
This one, the gayest guy on earth.
On Earth.
was in Santa Monica. The only one that comes close to him, I was in Houston once, and I wanted to congratulate this guy. Well, the way he was rocking it, but I didn't want to offend him, so
Yeah.
I let it go. But he had leg warmers on that were rainbow,
That's already
rainbow colored leg warmers on, and he had these little designer like they looked like some odd tennis shoe type thing that he was wearing, some very trendy tennis shoe, and then he had these boys gym shorts. Remember those gym shorts he used to wear? They were blue with the white stripe, and they were way too small. They were way too small. Okay, and he's a frail man as it is, and then he had a pink skin tight shirt. And some crazy multicolored bandana. And as he was working out, he's working out like this.
Like grunting.
Had
The best.
leg warmers, man. This is the gayest man that's ever walked the face of the earth.
Absolutely.
This guy, if he got together with the other guy, they would create a black hole
Of gay-
homosexuality.
Yeah.
It would eat its way through the cement.
Eat cement and
Wonderful.
spit come back at you.
Well,
It would be a sinkhole of gay. If you slipped and fell into it, you'd fall prey to the gay.
You
Now-
saw something
which one?
In-
I lived in San Francisco.
she lived in
for
San
years.
Francisco.
I went to college there.
You definitely saw the gayest thing that you can see.
Which one? There's so many.
You said during the parade one time you saw a guy.
Two guys fucking on the corner.
Yeah, on the street.
Just on the street.
Like
We don't need to find a mattress or a bed or an alleyway.
If you see guys butt fucking on the street, you'll be like, "That's the gayest street ever." You'll never forget that street.
At that moment, it's one of the gayest streets on earth.
Sure.
But I think it was during the Folsom Street Fair and all. So
well,
that's like the gay Mardi Gras.
That's
and
when I
everyone
fuck
goes
on the
out.
street.
yeah.
I like to limit it
Yeah.
to fairs.
Don't bring your kids.
If you're willing to fuck on the street during a fair, you're a real gangster. Like
Yeah.
you're out there just fucking breaking
yeah.
laws.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
You're a part of the problem.
Hey, remember at the Bear Gym in our old neighborhood?
Yeah.
That some guys. So this thing also in bear
yeah.
culture is these big guys. They also like to build their musk.
Yes.
And that's another part of it. And Tommy, one time, I think you were downwind of a guy. Weren't you?
Yeah.
The fan was behind him or something?
Fuck, man.
And you could smell his
It was like it
musk.
was so strong. It wasn't like gym smell strong. It was
Right.
like a personal body odor that you could just tell when someone's BO is kicking.
But
it was
it kicking because he was dirty?
He
like he hadn't
cultivates.
washed it?
Yeah, yeah. It was
To
a
build.
definitely a I haven't showered in like
Right.
in a while.
Maybe it's to ward off the smell of shit while you're fucking.
Oh!
You ever think about that?
I think it was just.
I mean, there's got to be
Maybe.
something.
Well, he had
that
such a pride.
drowns out.
He had such pride about his musk. I could just tell, like the way he was like,
Right.
"You picking up what I'm putting out there right now?" Like,
Wow.
just look about him.
Strong.
That,
It's a genre.
yeah,
It's a specific.
that I imagine that some people were walking through the gym that day, like, "Thanks, brother. Like, thanks for putting this out here because you got me fired up." To work
You
out now."
got me
Yeah.
ready to do some squats.
Yeah, I'm ready to
This
fight.
motherfucker smell good. Damn. Yeah, there's different levels of like gay guys too, right? Like, what they're into. Like some guys
Yeah.
are just into other like crazy big gay guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and some guys they like twinks. They're like
Yes.
little
Yeah.
tiny little boys.
Hairless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was this dude that I
Shave it down, brother.
that I knew that was a producer type character. So wealthy character that always had like these young boys with him. They were always like just 20 years old, a little confused. Like that's he
I know a well-known
That's-
comic who
that's-
likes that.
one. Do you only know one?
Oh yeah, that's true.
I know several. Yeah, that's sort of that's kind of a type.
There's all
Definitely.
types. There's
Yeah.
otters,
Otter?
cubs.
Whoa, otters? What's an otter?
No, I believe an otter.
young-
It's a tall, slender, hairless is an otter, as opposed to a big, hairy, fat, which is a bear.
And a younger bear is actually a cub, right?
A cub. So
There you go.
bears go with cubs, and cubs are just smaller
Whoa.
and more
That was Twilight.
malleable. But now I heard that the word twink
I
is
don't know.
becoming taboo.
Twink
the way
is
that
bad?
fag is
No.
kind of not cool to say. I think twink is starting to become in the
Oh,
Everybody's
God.
fired
Yes.
up about
I-
this.
I
Something-
heard-
Can
no,
we
here's what-
stop
they're
the
they're all meat
tide of
holes. You know.
Well, here's what happened. So, Andy Cohen on Bravo, I think he went on some other show and he's like, "Oh, look at all these twinks here." And then the twink community got really upset and started tweeting
What?
him.
Yeah, I know.
And so he apologized to the
Oh
twinks.
God! But isn't he gay? Andy
Yes.
He
Cohen?
is so gay. Yeah, he's totally.
Oh,
But
God. He apologized to the twinks. Everybody is just
Right.
looking for an opportunity to be sensitive.
Yes.
We are in such a weird time.
it is.
Where
weird.
it's like people have found reward in like pointing at like hot button things
Right.
like that. Like, hey, at the
Yeah.
twink community, we do not appreciate what you're
Yeah.
doing. Like, oh, I didn't
Or
know
being
the twink
offended.
community was all organized.
The You know who
Fuck.
else is fucking super annoying? And like this was a way different level of like how fucking what assholes they are. Is this like 1 million moms
What is
group?
that?
It's just like we're mothers that are Christian that want to raise fucking like great kids, and like but we're completely bigoted, discriminatory assholes. They publicly lash out for this is like the second or third time at JCPenney for having
boo.
Ellen DeGeneres as their spokesman. They're like, do you realize that none of us are ever going to shop there again because
Yeah,
you hired Ellen to be like that kind of shit. Like, and they got really mad about her latest Christmas commercial with elves. And they're like, you have fucking a gay woman with elves. What's going to fucking happen next? Like,
That's a
Sodomy!
Good, hey, that's a good point.
yeah.
I mean, what would happen?
What
next?
will happen
You
next
know?
if lesbians
I mean,
and elves
you
get
got
together?
lesbians mixing up with magical creatures.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Shit could get crazy.
Definitely.
What if they like develop some? What if they have nefarious intentions and they develop some sort of lesbian pixie
That's
dust?
right.
And they
Yeah.
spray it over a city while they're flying around.
And your kids become
Yeah, and
Bunch
everybody
of-
gay elves.
becomes lesbian
And
elves.
yeah, we got a bunch of miniature gay elves running around.
Listen, man, you mock.
Now,
And-
I wonder, does the lesbian community have these genres? I don't know. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
much.
yeah. They have lipstick lesbians.
Oh,
Yeah.
They
right,
have those.
butch.
Yeah, Fred Flintstone
Stop.
looking lesbians. That's-
Lipstick's the best, right? There's-
Lipstick.
yeah,
there's
that's
no
the
better.
kind that you
Femme.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lipsticks is
Definitely.
the pretty
That's what
ones
the
that
straight
kiss
guys
the other
like.
pretty ones.
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
yes, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
The other ones are intimidating, especially if they want to fight.
Yeah, they're not always good at shows either.
They could want to
I
argue.
don't think they
No.
have the best senses of humor.
Yeah, they
No, they can. They can be cool. For me,
They
maybe
can
not for
be
you.
cool. They can be
Yeah, of
cool.
course.
Yeah, I like
It's like you
lesbians.
can't really generalize a whole
No, no.
fucking sexual
I love them.
orientation.
Of course not.
Yeah, I've met a lot of cool lesbians.
Me
but
too.
Yeah, they're great.
I've met a lot of annoying straight people too.
Yeah, everybody sucks in
You
their
know?
own way.
God damn it.
That's true.
That's sort of the anti-positive approach. Everybody's got their own special gift. Everybody sucks in their own way. He took that shit to the dark place.
It's true.
That's hilarious and so true. It is true.
Yeah,
Right? We have a little something
Yeah.
fucking with us.
I have to
There's
ask
no
you this
perfect
because
proof.
I wanted to get your thoughts on Pacquiao going down to Marquez.
It was crazy.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Well, Manny Pacquiao, first of all, is a super nice guy. Tosh and I filmed this thing with him where I played Daniel Tosh's manager, and he was going to let Manny Pacquiao punch him in the face for some strange reason.
Right.
Fuck that.
And so Manny Pacquiao, he's very nice about it, by the way. He like kind of tapped him, and I'm like, hit him harder. And Tosh is looking at me like, what the fuck, man? Like, trust me, he's not going to hurt you, dude.
Yeah.
Just hit him a little harder. Just a
Yeah.
little harder. You know, and even then, Manny Pacquiao just sort of popped, like
Yeah.
so gently tapped
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
You know, but he's so nice. He's like
Yeah.
a really friendly guy.
Sweet.
Like he doesn't have any like weird feeling around. Like he's a super duper star. He travels deep with like this giant entourage that's taking care of everything around him all the time, and he's like the nicest guy in the world. So that made me sad, but that's the game he's playing.
Yeah.
He plays a crazy game. That game is you are competing with your consciousness. You're competing with your physical health. You're competing against another man who's a trained killer.
Yeah.
And when he hits you, your body is just like any other body. And if someone hits you perfectly, like he did,
Yeah.
twice he nailed.
Twice,
it.
yeah.
He dropped him with that first one, and most likely he was still hurt from
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But that second punch was so powerful. That was like the perfect punch because Pacquiao was moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And Marquez caught him moving forward and just crushed him in his tracks.
He was
That
lights out on the way down.
Yeah, it was one of the
Yeah.
worst or best one-punch knockouts I've ever seen in all of boxing. And I think it goes in the top 10. It's like, I mean, that shit is right up there with Paul Williams getting knocked out by Sergio Martinez. Did you see that fight? Sergio Martinez has got a vicious left hand, and he's like super athletic and moves around a lot.
Yeah.
And he nailed Paul Williams like this perfect overhand left as he was moving in,
Yeah.
and just spun him around and face planted. It was just like that.
Jesus.
But I just didn't
Yeah.
expect to see that with Pacquiao.
I think. Well, you know, I think I was seeing some stats on it that was his first time being knocked out
yeah.
since '90.
Really?
Well, he hasn't.
He
or
got-
maybe
he got
knocked down
stopped.
even
He- no,
since
he's been-
'98.
Yeah, I think he's been dropped.
Dropped.
I think he's been dropped. I can't
Some incredible
remember.
stat that like it hadn't happened since '98. But he was.
I think, well, actually, now that I think about it, I think Marquez dropped him in his fight in this fight before he knocked him out. That was the first
That's
time
right.
Marquez had knocked him down. He had knocked
Okay.
Marquez down before, but Marquez had staggered him before.
Uh-huh.
But somebody had stopped him earlier in his career.
Yeah.
He had been knocked out earlier in his
Okay.
career, but never like this.
This was
one of those knockouts that might just be a game changer.
Yeah.
That's a really, and you know, boxers, what you're seeing, first of all, in Manny, is you're seeing a guy who's already had, before this fight, they had 3 crazy fucking wars.
Right.
3 wars.
Yeah,
Back
brutal
and forth,
wars, yeah.
blasting each other. And how many of those can you have really in your life?
Yeah.
You know, there's a number. It
Right.
might be 10, it might be 7. Everybody's different, depending on when you start, depending on how good your defense is. But you're going to get nailed. You're getting your head hit. You're getting your body hit.
Oh, yeah.
You got a lot of
And-
fucking problems.
And that, among other fights, training, sparring sessions,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
hundreds
exactly.
of punches.
That was the point. The point is, what you're seeing is a tiny fraction of the actual damage his head has taken, because you're only seeing one fight. So you think about all the fights that he's had, all the punches that he's taken. It's a tremendous amount of punishment, as is. Then you have to factor in the fact that that is a fraction of the actual punishment.
Right.
Then you start getting an idea of what the fuck is really going on when you're training for a fight. Like, you have to have a number in your head, or a feeling, or a time, or what. You got to know when to fucking get out, because the more you do that shit, the more one day it's going to catch up with you. But with a guy like Pacquiao, it's super hard for those guys to just go out on top.
Yeah.
You know, Floyd Mayweather retired and then he came back. He almost went out on top. He almost said, fuck it, went out on top. But I think he's probably the most cautious out of all of them.
Floyd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the most cautious stylistically. You know, very rarely gets hit. When he does get hit, recovers very well.
Yeah.
Like Shane Mosley was the last one to tag him.
Yeah.
But he goes through entire fights where he barely gets tagged.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just boxes the shit out of people.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that. I love the fact that the guy's still, he's like, not only is he unbeaten, he's really unchallenged. And he's like, I think he's 36 now. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, he's gotta be.
pretty unheard of, you know? And he looks fantastic.
And his defense is so incredible.
It's insane. He's a brilliant boxer.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant. And he probably would have boxed the shit out of Manny Pacquiao, especially seeing what he did to Martinez and
Yeah.
what Pacquiao was able to do to Martinez. And then what, you know, the difference is Martinez and Floyd wasn't even close. Floyd just outboxed the shit out of him. I mean, he just couldn't get to him.
Yeah.
Floyd is just too good. He's too good
he
at positioning.
Throws amazing punches. He recovers well,
Yeah.
and his people don't realize sometimes that, like, I mean, depending on how good whoever he's fighting at the time, that a lot of times he boxes gloves down because he's so quick. He doesn't pull up his gloves for a lot of fights. His gloves are down, and he's dipping around, like playing with people.
Yeah,
toying
well,
with
he
them.
does that shoulder roll thing.
Yeah.
Where he walks towards guys with his left shoulder up high and his right glove by his face, and they don't know what to do with that. And
Right.
he's so good. His
Yeah.
reflexes are so good. And now that Adrian Broner guy, have you seen that kid? That upcoming kid? Oh, my God, this kid's a monster. He's like Floyd Mayweather, but with more punching power.
Same like weight class.
I
Or?
think he's 47. I'm not sure. He's just, or he might be 35. He's either 35 and struggling to make the weight and moving up to 40 or 47. Whatever it is, this kid's dynamite. He has that same style, that high left shoulder up.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, there's some fucking
I mean,
killers
no
out there,
no
man.
fucking lead glove for most of your your
Yeah.
left glove is down. It's crazy.
It is crazy, but they're so good at those duck and roll counter
Yeah.
right hands, and you don't want to get clipped by that shit.
No.
And so, like, guys are real cautious. They don't not, and he's so good at like slipping jabs, so good at anticipating your movement. The best boxers are great at leading guys into certain directions and anticipating how they respond. You know, and so like a guy like Floyd Mayweather is not like an impulsive guy. He's like a guy who's going to set traps for you.
Right.
So, like, he'll lead you in certain directions and see how you respond, and then lead you in that certain direction again, and see how you respond, and then set you up for a time where he's going to lead you in that certain direction, and he's going to stop, bang, and he's going to catch you because you
Yeah.
do a certain thing over and over again. You know, you do a certain thing
Sure.
with your gloves when you move off the ropes, and he's going to catch you.
He's gonna figure it out, too,
He's
yeah.
going to figure it out, and that's
God.
that's another thing that Anderson Silva does.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva, he moves around with the guy for like the first minute or two, kind of gets a sense of how he operates, how he moves, feints him a little bit, and then starts setting him up. Starts setting him up for death.
Yeah, for death. Yeah.
Setting him up for a dismantling.
Yeah, Floyd's his defense is so interesting and so developed that, like, when you watch him box, sometimes you'll see him get up against the ropes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he's up against the ropes. This guy might take advantage of this. and then Floyd somehow pulls it into his advantage. Like,
Yeah.
his defense becomes his offense.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no, he's fucking ripping this guy apart.
He's
now.
just too good.
Yeah.
He's so good at straight boxing. I mean, it's amazing. And he's a guy that's had a lot of hand problems, too. That guy broke his hands
Yeah, he breaks
several
them all the
times.
time. Yeah.
So he goes for, like, the biggest, cushioniest gloves. And because of that, I think this, because of his fragile hands, he probably, there's a lot of guys he doesn't knock out because of that very reason, because he's had, like, problems with his hands over and over again. But the way he knocked out homeboy from England, what the fuck's his name?
Hatton?
Ricky Hatton.
Ricky Hatton.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. And that was when Hatton was in his prime.
Yeah.
Hatton was an animal,
Yeah,
He
Floyd's
just
so fast.
boxed the shit out of him. He just boxes the shit out of guys. They just can't get to him.
You just remind me, I'm going to be in Vegas
Oh,
this week.
powerful
Yo,
Tommy
Floyd, if you want to
Buns.
grab lunch, if you want to grab dinner, please bring Roger.
Yo,
I
Floyd,
would love
he
it.
Yeah,
wants
that's-
to be a part of Team Money, okay?
Money
Tommy
team all the way,
Buns-
man. Big fan.
Tommy Buns
that up.
is all about Team Money.
Is he
okay?
fighting Cat
The money
Williams?
team. I want
Is
to
he
roll with
fighting-
you. I need a
No,
new watch,
what is,
dog.
What is going on, man? Cat Williams hit somebody in the head with a microphone or something?
And he punched the dude in Target. And
slapped that
What
guy.
is
He
going
slapped
on
him.
with
He
Cat?
got
I
in
don't
a
know.
car chase with
He's
the
working on a new
cops.
hour. Give him a fucking break.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, so sensitive.
Wait, what was that? To bring back to me, we watched this 24/7.
Oh,
was
it's-
that his uncle that
Yeah,
trains
Roger.
him? I
That's what his-
love
that guy's
that
Black
guy.
Mamba.
Yeah.
He was a former champion himself.
Yeah, he
Black,
was.
Roger Mayweather had a vicious right hand.
What a great
The
family.
24/7. Miguel Cotto is still my favorite, right? When Cotto's like, I know Floyd is a supreme athlete, great boxer, and we have to be ready for war. And they cut to Roger Mayweather. He goes, I don't give a fuck about Miguel Cotto. Just that. You're like,
Dread.
Well,
That's
the
right.
level of technique that Floyd has is so above and beyond everybody else he fights that he has that kind of confidence.
Yeah,
I mean, Miguel Cotto, especially during that fight, was a prime athlete. Margarito was the only one that ever really fucked up Miguel Cotto when he was in his prime like
Yeah.
that and stopped him. And that was when Margarito was accused of having loaded gloves.
Yeah.
Because he got busted in
Sure he did.
one of his subsequent fights. But Miguel
Wow.
Cotto was a badass fucking boxer.
yeah, what that guy.
But boxing with Floyd is like he makes everybody look goofy. He makes
does.
everybody look they look like they just don't really know what he's doing. They don't
Yeah.
really belong in there with him. He figured you out early enough, and now every time you step, he's popping a jab in your face, and there's no retaliation. He's not there, and then and you look stupid.
You do.
and he slowly breaks you down. He's just so
Yeah.
good.
He's a superb boxer, man. Superb athlete.
But if I had a choice between watching him and Anderson Silva, I'd be like, bitch.
Yeah.
I would way rather watch Anderson Silva fight.
Yeah.
It's not even
Okay.
a question. That's one of the reasons why I like
Okay.
MMA so much better. I like a good fight with Floyd Mayweather. Like if I found out Floyd Mayweather was going to fight Pacquiao before this last
Yeah.
thing, then I would be super
I'd like
excited.
to
Sure.
watch that.
Yeah.
But
that'd be fun to
when
watch.
he's fighting, if he's fighting somebody that I don't give a fuck about,
Yeah,
it's
like,
like
whatever.
Yeah, he's just going to box this guy up. It'll be interesting to watch.
Sure, I mean,
but I can watch
it
it on
will.
HBO next week.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've asked you this before, but how famous is Anderson Silva in Brazil?
Oh, it's
It's
like
like-
Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson had a baby.
Really? That
Yeah,
famous?
What?
it's incredible.
That's
He's
incredible.
a superstar. They love him, man.
That's awesome.
The cheers when he goes on into the octagon, when he steps up the stairs and walks in, they close the door behind him. They're fucking deafening. I took my headphones off and I said, I go to Mike Goldberg while I was
Yeah.
talking to him on the air. I go, take your headphones off. I go, take your headphones off and feel this. He takes the headphones off. He's like, we're just looking at each other like, whoa. There's 20,000 people in Rio, and they are going fucking bananas.
Yes.
And Anderson walks in and bows, and they're going fucking ape shit.
That's so
And then he
cool.
goes out there and dismantles Stephen Bonner in a
Yeah.
way that doesn't even seem human.
Yeah.
He did it like some fucking kung fu movie dude who just got bolted with some secret lightning power. Right. And like he had superpowers, so
Yeah.
it didn't even make any sense. He did movie shit. He stepped with his back up against the cage and let Stephen Bonner throw punches at him with his hands down, and just ducked and moved in front of him, and then threw Bonner to the ground and knocked him unconscious with a knee to the body. Blasted him with a knee to the body, and just boom, he goes down in a turtle position. Done. I mean, the way he did it was like it was superhuman.
Yeah.
It was like a guy in a movie. Like if you saw a guy do that in like Born Identity, you'd be like, bitch, nobody can
come
do
on.
that. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Put your back up
Right.
against the wall. Well, nobody puts their back up against the cage. Like, oh, how about the best fighter in the fucking world does that?
Yeah.
The best guy ever puts his back up against the cage to a big giant dude like Stephen Bonner.
Yeah. Big
who's
motherfucker.
cutting weight down from like 230 to fight at 205, and Anderson fights at 185. And he still ragdolls the guy.
Yeah.
It's freaky. He's freaky. There's nobody that freaks me out when you watch them, when you watch like the shit that they can do to like really high level grown fighters. No one freaks me out like Anderson.
Yeah.
He's like you're watching a rare master. Like you're going to get a chance to talk about this when you get old. You know, like there's people that will talk about when they saw Joe Louis fight. Or,
Yeah.
It's like, that's all well and good. Anderson Silva would have fucked up Joe Louis.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And listen to me. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva in an MMA fight would fuck Joe Louis up. All right? You're watching something crazy. You're watching the baddest fighter that's ever walked the face of the planet. The shit he does to guys, even like really good guys, it's shocking.
Do you think he could beat Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I don't know, man. It depends on which movie it is. You know, if it's like one of Jean-Claude Van Damme's, like one of his signature movies.
Bloodsport?
You know, if it's like a Bloodsport 2, Van Damme has heart that you will never be able to appreciate. My heart. Have you ever seen him cry in his reality show? It's amazing.
Yeah, I did see
He has
that.
a show I didn't
He
even
used to,
know.
right? Not now.
Or
He
Steven
is-
Seagal. I
He
remember
is
him.
awesome. He's awesome.
Steven Seagal.
He's awesome in a totally different way than Steven Seagal's awesome as well.
Yeah.
But Jean-Claude Van Damme is awesome in a completely different way.
What was the movie that he came out with like a year or two ago? What was the movie he
So
came out
hard
with
to
that was like about...
What do you think? I'm crazy? You think I know what movies he's doing?
No. This one was actually good.
on,
where
Joe.
he played...
You got
Oh,
them all.
JCVD. Yeah, he
Yes,
played himself.
that's
yes.
right. That
I
was
have
good.
that on Blu-ray.
I like that. See,
I'm
you
a
know.
fan. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I never said I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's still crazy. Okay? And he has a reality show. And he plays, I guess, I've only seen the videos on the internet, but you could readily get them on the internet. But it's
Okay.
wonderful. Okay? He's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay? And he keeps talking about, I'm going to have this fight. I'm going to have to fight one more time for the children. Like he has these like crazy ideas. I did, they say, Jean-Claude, you did a lot of cocaine and you know a lot of other things. I'm not happy about those other things, but I'm going to make it up with this fight and I'm going to win by knockout. And it's like so crazy and over the top, like he's acting.
Yeah.
It's like this strange hybrid between a reality show and a movie.
Yeah.
And what he's doing is really strange because he's saying he's going to have a fight. And he's got this guy that he keeps dragging around with him that he's saying but the problem is he's been doing this for like 4 years. So this guy, for these 4 years, he's been saying he's going to fight.
Yeah.
Like, and they pose for stare downs.
For
and
years.
For years, man. I mean, for fucking
That's
years.
weird.
It's still going on.
That's hilarious.
And he's still like, well, I'm going to have this fight and I'm going to do it for the children and to show them you can bounce back from all of this bullshit and this cocaine. And it's
And the cocaine.
fucking wonderful. It's wonderful.
Can we do
We have
that?
to watch this.
That might be it. That might be one of them.
have to
I mean,
watch
there's a
that.
lot of them. He's got a lot of them.
Can I do...
But generally, he seems like a really nice guy.
He does.
He seems like real friendly, and he doesn't seem like he's trying to be a hard ass. Like even when he's saying like he's gonna knock the guy out, you're like, oh, come on, give me a hug. Come on, get over here and give me.
By
a
the
hug.
way-
you don't need cocaine, man. You need to stop.
You know that you said it's like a weird hybrid between like reality and like...
Yes.
I think that's the new and next step that's going to really develop for television is like shows like Duck Hunters, the Duck Dynasty,
Duck Dynasty. I love that one.
where it's that family
God,
and
I
they go,
love
this is a
them.
reality show, but it's clearly like it's produced too well.
Right.
Where you're like, there's no way. Like these are real people. They're not they're not actors. But like all the moments are too well
They're
constructed. Like
produced
the
moments.
wife comes in
Yeah.
right at the moment when the guys are like fucking cutting a hole in the
Yeah.
ceiling, and she's like, "What are you
Texas
assholes
show.
doing?"
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's in
though, to do
Louisiana.
that.
Yeah.
It's Louisiana.
You done
Back
lost
one.
your redneck. I ain't lost my redneck. Oh man, you done lost
Yeah.
your redneck.
Yeah, it's a
It's like-
funny show.
I'll show you I ain't lost my redneck.
Yeah. You're dating all these, what do they call me? Yuppie girls that don't
Yeah.
eat frog legs. I love that old guy. The patriarch's great in that. The
It's
old
so
grandfather.
full of shit, though.
It's full of
Yeah.
shit.
Have you
of
seen
course.
Swamp People?
No.
Okay, Swamp People is just, they should call that show Alligator Assassins. Okay? Because it's just a bunch of motherfuckers that live in Florida and kill alligators. And they kill a fuckload
Yeah.
of alligators. Okay? They kill like 500 of them a season.
I went to
I'm
high
not
school with a
kidding.
few of those guys. I think I I remember them.
Dude, they kill a lot of alligators.
Yeah.
It's really freaky to think there's that many goddamn alligators out
Yeah,
there.
man.
And you know what's really freaky? A lot of people might not like this, but if they weren't killing those alligators would fuck and make more alligators.
Yeah.
And if you think of how many fucking alligators they're killing, do you
Yeah.
know what kind of an infestation of alligators we must
Yeah.
have in this country?
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, they're killing hundreds and hundreds of them.
And in Florida, holy
Yeah, you
shit,
have to.
it's out of
Yeah,
control.
they have to.
They
I lived
still
in
end up in
Florida when
people's
they were
backyards all the time, man. All the time.
When I lived in Gainesville, they were protected. You couldn't kill them.
Really?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I lived in Florida.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I lived in Gainesville for 2 years. My dad was going to the University of Florida, and we used to go to Lake Alice. There's this like little lake there,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to feed the alligators marshmallows.
Get out.
Yeah, you'd throw
That's
the
so
marshmallows in the water.
crazy.
You'd be like, "Whoa, these are crazy monsters. We're feeding these monsters."
Yeah.
But they didn't really fuck with people too much. They occasionally would like get a dog. Like if someone they walked their dog too close to the water, didn't see the alligator can't help themselves. But I guess they would feed them or something. I don't know what the fuck they did. They must have done something to keep them happy if they were around people. But apparently it got to a certain point where there was just so many fucking alligators they had to do something
Oh
about it.
yeah, I used to see. I went to high school in Florida, and you would see them golf
Everywhere.
courses. You see
Yeah.
people's backyards. There are a lot of people with pools in Florida. They end
How
up in
often do they
pools.
kill people, alligators?
I don't think it happens that often. But I mean, I'm sure I'm sure there's statistics on it, but I don't remember a lot
Like
of
one a year maybe?
maybe one of those
something
kind
like
of
that?
things. Yeah, I know people lose limbs and people go to get their golf ball and they go into the little pond or the lake and
But
you
you-
can lose a hand.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
think you got to be
Fuck,
fucking
fuck,
with them.
Fuck.
I think you let that ball go.
Yeah.
That's what you
fuck,
do,
fuck,
man.
Fuck.
Get a new Titleist.
Jesus Christ.
Leave it in the water. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
terrifying, man.
But I don't think they like human flesh. That's not their first.
Nah.
Yeah.
I know because in crocodile, like when I
They
was on
eat
road
shit.
rolls,
They'll
with
eat
the
a bag of
crocodile.
shit.
They will.
Yeah.
They will.
They would eat people. They just haven't.
But
they
I-
haven't
License
been doing
plates
it.
and tires and
But
shit.
it's not their preference. Like
Yeah.
when we were on road rolls in Australia, we went to a crocodile farm, and like the guy that owned it was explaining how they don't really want to eat us, but if they're hungry and there's nothing else,
Yeah.
that's when they'll fuck with you.
Yeah.
If you're down by the fucking swamp and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh hey, what are you doing here?" and then it'll grab you and death roll
Yeah.
you. and
But
you're
I
dead.
think that the only reason why they don't do it is because they don't recognize us as a food source.
as a delicious meal.
because
yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
usually eat us. But
Right.
once they
Right.
recognize us as a food source, that's when it becomes a real problem.
Yeah.
Like there was one they killed in the Philippines recently, and it was fucking huge saltwater crocodile, and it had killed a bunch of villagers. Like they knew that there was this one giant crocodile. It was more than 20 fucking feet long.
Yeah.
and it was killing people, and they had to go after it and go
There,
get it.
there was that one that was like killing a bunch of people, wasn't it? In Canada, one that the movie is based on. Like they made
Canada,
yeah.
a crocodile in Canada.
Or no, some lake. It was like
Maybe.
some northern sitting lake. It was about
Really?
not a croc, maybe a gator. Right, that's what the movie's about. It's like
What movie is it?
lake,
Oh shit!
lake,
Michigan.
I remember what you're talking
not Lake
about.
Michigan. Remember the movie Lake
Hopefully.
Michigan? Was it Placid
I
Lake?
remember.
Lake Placid.
Yeah,
Lake
isn't that about
Placid, the
that's
movie?
that's based on a real story.
Get the fuck.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Get the fuck.
I met
outta
one of
here.
the. I think I met one of the writers on that who told me that. Yeah,
What?
I'm pretty sure, man.
Because once I get
It's
like
based
20
on. I might be
feet-
wrong on the location, but I know it's based on a real murdering gator. I think.
What? A murdering gator?
I think so. Is that right?
Oh, maybe, babe.
What's the true story of Lake Placid's alligator? Let's go to Wiki Answers. How beautiful is this day and age?
It's in.
We can just do that.
Remember when you used to have Encyclopedia Britannicas?
That shit was whack as fuck.
I know.
The story is based off the 1943 mysterious disappearances of 10 teenagers while playing one night on Lake Placid. Okay, so it's just a
Okay.
it's just a rumor.
Okay, but so the movie just
The movie
adds the gator concept to it
yeah,
or something?
Well, apparently it became a legend because it happened in 1943, and so people would talk about it. And so the movie is like based on this actual monster, and it's sort of a
See, guys?
treat. It's a
Factual
Tom's
story.
right, guys. Tom's right.
Yeah.
Don't send me your tweets or your emails about how I'm
Yeah.
wrong. I'm right. We just read it on the internet.
Basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's in what you said cannot be argued.
There you go.
Yeah, what a that's a dumbass movie. Fucking alligator.
I
up in
think-
Michigan.
okay.
I know.
That alligator would be freezing his dick off. It's
in New York, right?
Lake Michigan.
Is it? Is that
It's
where
in
it
the
took
Hudson.
place? Is
I
that
think
where it
it's-
took place?
yeah.
30-foot-long man-eating crocodile, which terrorizes the fictional
Shit.
location of Black Lake, Maine. Oh, that's even more ridiculous. Maine is only like thawed out for like a month a year.
Yeah,
Maine is cold
Maine,
as
there you
fuck.
go. So I wasn't that far off when I said Canada.
New York
right?
State's pretty close.
You know.
Canada's close to Maine.
Sure, there you go.
You were in that
True
box.
story.
Yeah.
There you go. Write it down.
That's a...
Winter gators.
If you think about like a perfect nightmare that's chasing after you, it's a giant reptile, right?
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Because they're so emotionless and cunty
Yeah.
and just
Yes.
they don't they don't give a fuck. They
It's a dinosaur,
Yeah.
right? It's like
yeah.
it's just an extension of like a T-Rex chasing you.
It's an animal that has virtually not changed for 200 million years. They existed in this form 200 million years ago. What the fuck, man?
So strong. They're all muscle.
And they're just like the cleaning systems
yeah.
of ecosystems.
Yeah, right.
They're like they're the cleaners. They come in, anything that's limping, you're done,
You're
son.
done.
Just
Yeah.
anything that's jacked,
You're done,
anything
son.
that goes and tries to
Old.
get water out of the
Yeah.
wrong
Yep.
spot, slam, keep the population down. Boom! Are you trying to cross this river? Not. Snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever seen those river crossings? Those Nile crocodiles
Oh, yeah.
No,
step
dude.
up and just huge dinosaur jaws clamp
Yeah.
down on wildebeest and drag them underwater. And you're like,
Yeah.
what is going on here?
I always feel
This
like
is a system that's set up.
Totally.
A life system, life and death. There's a population control mechanism in effect. Big cats and alligators. Crocodiles. Is it any coincidence that's the place where there's the most gazelles?
Oh, yeah.
Those
Right.
fucking things are running around everywhere,
yep.
and everything's running around everywhere. Wildebeest and all these things, just giant things trying to eat them and keep their populations down.
The footage,
Terrifying.
the footage of that is always the same. If you watch those Nat Geo shows, there'll be like these 50 gazelles crossing the river, and you're like, huh, I wonder. And then like
little
3
ones.
seconds go by, and you're like, oh, there's one that's not with the pack. I think we should watch him for a second. And then you watch him kind of limp in, tentatively cross the creek, and that croc comes up and is like, game
Rawr.
fucking over.
Oh,
I love it.
They're such machines. They're so terrifying, and they can be under that water for hours. They don't have to breathe for hours, so they sit under the water waiting for someone to come by. And then the water's all fucking murky and shit. You can't see that big dinosaur waiting there to eat babies.
Oh, man.
That monster.
And how perfectly designed is he?
Oh,
Where
God.
when you see
Terrifying.
footage
The
of his
jaws and
eyes
shit.
just out of the water, so it's just
yeah.
up like just
It's a
over the
monster.
water, and you're
It's
like,
a
oh,
horrific,
shit.
horrific monster.
I remember. Okay, this is gonna sound really lame, but on road rules, I had to. We had to put a bag over a crocodile's head.
Oh my God.
So you have to clamp its jaws shut and then duct tape it, and then you put a bag on its head, and then you sit on it. You have to sit on it to hold it still, and that's how we would transport it, like for one of the missions.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So this guy Keefla on the show, he had a pole and he was trying to rope the crocodile's neck, and the crocodile went into a death roll.
Oh, Jesus.
And his shirt got caught in the pole
Oh,
and started
Jesus.
to twist around his arm, and it was cutting off his circulation.
Oh my God.
And everybody was like, "Holy fuck!" Like when that really happens on a reality show, like
Yeah.
you don't know what to do. So he was just screaming, "Cut the shirt! Cut the shirt! Cut the fucking shirt!" And I'm like, there's no scissors in the outback.
Right,
like
right.
somebody had to rummage through their sound kit or whatever.
And this thing was
found
still
it.
spinning?
spinning, and it was
How
like,
big is this alligator?
It was medium sized, 10 to 15 feet long, like
So-
a teenager.
Was its teeth clamped down on his shirt?
Yeah, so you clamp the jaws shut, and then somebody duct tapes the jaws
And
together.
somehow or another it got a hold of the teeth.
So the next part is you have to put something around its neck, and so Keefla was using a pole with a rope at the end of it,
like a loop rope. Right?
So
Yeah.
they loop it that
Right,
way.
right.
So he did it, and somehow this crocodile got latched onto it, maybe in his jaw,
the rope.
and he just started death rolling.
Oh, wow.
So the pole
And the
caught
pole
his
got caught in his
shirt
shirt.
on his sleeve, and then tightened the sleeve. So we had to cut the shirt off of him.
Jesus
It was
Christ. You got to
terrifying.
wear spandex when you're fucking with crocodiles.
Yeah.
This is very important. You'd be
Real
all tucked
talk.
Maybe.
up, and ready to sprint.
Real talk.
Tank
You need
tops from now
cleats.
on.
You need
Yeah.
cleats as well. You don't want to be slipping.
No,
For sure.
dude.
Jesus Christ.
Dangerous.
They found Nile crocodiles in Florida. Have you heard that?
No.
They have a shoot to kill order on Nile crocodiles in Florida. They spotted a couple of them.
So people transported in Nile crocodiles. Jesus.
Yes.
Bags.
It's just some fucking
You
assholes.
Yeah.
That was probably some dude who's trying to guard his cocaine. I know what I'm gonna do, man.
Right?
I'm gonna have a fucking moor with Nile crocodiles, those big ones, 28 foot long, eat a motherfucking wildebeest in one bite. You're gonna fuck with my cock.
Some Colombian.
That's
definitely.
right. Yeah, that
for sure.
was.
Well, didn't those dudes back in like the Miami Vice days? Didn't like those dudes like have like leopards in their backyard?
Oh,
Rico
yeah.
and Tubbs, right?
Yeah, those
Not
guys
those
too.
guys. I mean, he had a crocodile in his boat.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Or an alligator, some sort of
He did,
big
dude. It
lizard.
was
He
on his
did.
boat.
That's
Yeah.
right. It was chained up on his
Yeah.
boat.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I'm talking about. During that was the
I got a
douchiest
panther,
era.
I got a crack.
That was the douchiest era in all of humanity. Those 80s, the 80s cocaine days of Miami is
Yeah.
the douchiest era of all time. Everybody wanted to have a
Yes.
pet tiger.
Yeah.
Yep.
You go over this guy's house, he's got fucking peacocks walking on his front lawn. You're like, what's happening here? And then, you know,
all my shit.
This is my python collection. What we do is we grow them to about 10 feet long and then just take them out of the Everglades. I mean, you can't control them after they're 10 feet long. But I just get a new one and, you know, start from scratch, retrain them. Ain't no big thing. Just releasing pythons.
That
They
dude-
fucking have pythons out there that are
Pythons.
20
God.
feet long.
It's
in
the same dude who
Everglades.
has like grenades.
some
like I
coke
got
everywhere.
100 grenades in the living room.
Well, I got rocket launchers
Yeah.
under my couch, but I don't tend to use them.
Yeah. You're like, why do you have that, man?
If you want to blow through a wall, you know, if there's a wall in your way.
That's why I got a Puma,
Puma.
in my weight room.
Yeah, I got a Puma that I keep there for inspiration. Sometimes I don't feed him. He get real hungry. I'll be lifting weights right next to him.
I got some wolf colors.
Motivation.
It's just the fact that he eyeballing me, knowing that I look delicious and nutritious, and he's starving to death. It make me do more squats. Make me do more
Eyeballing me.
squats.
I got paper plates with diamonds on them and shit.
What was that shit in New York City? I saw a reality show where they would buy like baby crocodiles and shit and keep them in the bathtub.
Yeah, well, people do that.
Yeah.
There was a guy who got
Cool guys.
I think it was.
Keep doing
I think
that.
it was either Brooklyn or the Bronx, but he got mauled by a tiger that he had as a pet in an
Yeah.
apartment.
Tommy's got
Yeah.
a joke about that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't want to give up your bits.
No, man,
No,
no.
no.
It's just funny. It's an old
The
one,
premise.
but yeah.
Oh, it's an old joke?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
How's
well,
it go?
not that. I mean,
Come on, hit it, buddy.
Nah,
long.
that's too long.
I'll do it if you tell me the words.
I talk about another guy.
I'll do it.
I talk about the guy. What's it called? That had the animals at his house and he released them. You know, remember? In
Oh, the guy in Ohio, yeah.
I have a bit about that. That's on my new
killed
album.
himself,
I'm
right?
not plugging it or anything. But
Did he kill himself?
Yeah, he did. He killed him. Well, he cut up. He released them all,
Right.
and then I believe he cut up like some chickens and like poured the blood all over himself and with dead animals on him.
Right.
And then like he had lions and shit that he
Oh,
released, so
God.
he got fucked up by everything. I think he might have been dead before they got to him, but they eventually like animals were pulling his dead body apart. you know?
Whoa.
That's a crazy way to go out. I've never heard that before.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's a dude who really loves animals.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Part of the ecosystem.
What a silly fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, the whole zoo life is really it's a crazy torture that we do so that we can look at animals in
Absolutely.
real life. Because they don't even
Yeah.
allow them to live a natural life while in captivity. It's one thing if we had them in an ecosystem that was similar to their own, so we put them in these containment areas, and then we let loose antelopes or whatever the fuck it is that they get to run and chase down and kill. If that was the
Yeah, yeah,
case,
yeah.
I think that would at least be like a rewarding life for these cats. But when
Yeah.
you keep pushing that meat out to them and they don't get any sort of chase reward thing going on, we see like they play with each other, like they want to chase things, like it's a
Yeah.
part of the whole dynamics of their organism. Like they're designed to chase and kill shit. They're designed to kill all the limpid
Right.
shit. And so you put them in this cage, you're just like jolting their brain, like they never get a chance to express what they were put on Earth to do. It sounds fucked up, but
Yeah.
It's depressing.
but I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to stop the gazelles from breeding, and you're going to control the gazelle. Put a few fucking gazelles in the cage with them, okay? Just let them in
Yeah,
there.
and then
What-
invite
what-
me to watch
Yeah.
it. I'll pay extra.
Well, here's the key.
Definitely.
Here's the key.
Right?
What's the difference, goddammit, between the meat that you're giving him? Because you're giving him meat. Someone's
Yeah.
killing an animal, and someone's giving him that meat. Why can't he do that? Because you know he wants to.
Yeah.
Well, someone else is killing it. It's
Yeah.
not like you're saving an animal. Someone else is
Right.
killing a fucking animal, and you're cutting it up,
Yep.
and then you're sliding under the tray. Why not just let a cow loose and let
Yeah.
them go? You know,
And talk about driving
something
up
run.
revenue,
Yeah.
like because
Oh,
if
yeah.
they
I
were
would
like,
watch that.
"Hey, it's an
Fuck
extra
yeah.
70 to watch," I'd be
Absolutely,
like, "Here you
dude.
go."
Well, you know that's what they do in Asia. In Asia,
Really?
when they
Hey.
feed tigers, they release goats.
Oh,
Brian,
that's
pull one of those videos up. You ready to freak the fuck out?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
And this is like a common theme apparently in Asia. They when they have tigers, they just have this big dump truck, and they have the dump truck with a couple of fucking goats in it, and it deet 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 deet, and the goat doesn't know what the fuck is going on, but the tigers do. You know what? Because a new goat gets
shit.
dropped off like that every day.
Yeah.
So the tigers like stand there and stare while this thing backs up and beeps, and they just wait, and they get real close to it, and as soon as the thing opens, the goat dumps out, and boom, they jump on it, 3, 4 of them at a time, rip it apart into shreds in a matter of seconds.
That's awesome.
And they run away with
That
like
is
one's got a
awesome.
head, one's got a leg.
I love this.
You find any?
That's
Yeah.
what they're supposed to do.
Wait till you see this shit, because this is a weird thing to see. But this is what they want to do.
Yes,
Okay, I mean,
let
if you're
them
going to
do
kill
it.
that goat anyway, if you're going to feed them
Yeah.
goat, why
do it.
why
I
wouldn't you do
agree.
that? Because then at least, I mean, it's still fucked up that you've got them contained like that. But at least then they get to live a tiger's life.
I feel like the only reason we
so
don't get
sad.
that is because of like some type of animal rights organizations here that don't really exist in other parts of the world.
Well, I
You know what I'm
think
saying?
I think our own lives for a lot of people are so fucking suppressive and ridiculous and
Yes.
restrained that we don't give a fuck about that stupid elephant. Tough shit, bitch.
Yeah.
Take your cage. I don't like my cubicle. You don't like your
Oh,
cage?
Right.
Here's
oh,
one of them.
here it
Yeah.
goes.
Look at this.
All right.
They're just sitting there watching and waiting. These are lions. This is a different one.
Wow.
But they do. I guess they do it with
They're
lions
massive,
too. So
massive.
they're just sitting around and they lift up this dump truck. They're opening the door right now, and the lions are just hovering right in front of it.
There's a
Here it comes. Uh-oh.
there.
Uh-oh.
be a shitty way to go.
This guy's honking his. That beep is this guy honking his horn. He's trying to control the lions by honking his horn.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're in this
Good luck with
Dude.
that.
and you're hogtied.
Look, this horn ain't doing shit to these
Yeah.
lions because they know. Here it comes.
Yeah, with the horn.
Now the guy's gonna lift it up. It's really going high now, and the thing's gonna drop out. Why is he honking with the horn, you
That's
son of a
so
bitch? Maybe he's
annoying.
got his dick out and he's really excited. Something's gonna die. Hey, well, here, he pulled it out of it. There it is.
Oh!
Oh my God, that's it. They
There
just
it goes.
latch onto it and
Like a
just
toy.
rip it to shreds.
Yep.
Look at it. They're all playing tug of war. There's like 9
Hey,
lions.
that's weird.
Oh,
I
that
don't,
guy
And
swatted
then another one
too.
tries to get in, and this one
Yep.
pawed at him. See, that one's pawing at him.
I don't hear it. I don't hear it crying anymore. What happened?
Because that guy's honking.
No, I think
Look at that. God damn it.
awesome.
They're
People are
screaming.
screaming.
That is awesome. Wow, I'd pay a lot to see that in person.
Oh my God.
Is that a 7-year-old?
You do not want to fuck that chick. Is that a girl or a boy? If that's a
That's
girl,
a-
you do not want to fuck
like a
her.
little-
If that's a boy, he needs to be monitored.
Whoa.
there you
He
go.
needs to be monitored. Look at that piece that it's at. Ugh. These are impressive, but these are lions. If you can find tigers, Brian, see if you can find tigers, because the tiger video that I saw is way more quick. Way more quicker.
That kid was spot
Way more
on. though.
ferocious.
But this does seem more humane, oddly, when you're feeding these wild animals.
Oh, it's totally more
Allow
humane.
them to be
be
in their
themselves.
element, to be their true nature.
That's what they're supposed to be
Yeah.
doing.
Yes.
But we've already. I think that way is ridiculous with a slow dump truck.
Yeah.
But there should be a gate, and you should let a couple of them out in the morning.
Yeah,
You know,
why
what
the-
the fuck are you going to do?
Why the dump?
I think the
Yeah,
footage I saw one
that's
time
so
was from the
gross.
Baghdad Zoo was like that.
Terrible way to die. Someone's honking their horn. And all of a sudden they're playing tug of war with your body, just ripping parts off your body. With these monstrous jaws and giant white teeth that penetrate flesh and just pulling you apart literally for your sustenance, for your flesh. What a
Damn it.
what a suck world the world of the jungle is.
My God.
The world of the jungle is a motherfucker. Here's another one. This guy's again same thing.
Dump
But this time it's tigers.
Ooh, it's tigers.
Look how much bigger the tigers are than the lions. Again, a motherfucker with a horn.
Yeah.
This is like sport for them. I guess they don't want him climbing inside. There it is. Oh, Jesus! Check this out. It's
That's
a
big.
cow. Oh, look at this. Boom. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen to that thing make noise. Oh, it's biting. And he's decided he's killing it now. So he's just getting a hold of the neck. Look at that. That's it. He broke the neck and killed it. Look how quick he killed that thing, man. That's a cow.
Oh my God.
Dude, he killed that cow like instantly with
So
his
fast.
jaws. He just took it, snapped it, and killed it.
It didn't look like it took a lot of effort.
No.
No.
It kind of looked like he was picking up a cup to have a sip out of it.
That was
like,
a cow one. I've seen them
like,
with the goat one's the most fucked up one because they just tear them apart and run away with the pieces. What a way to go for that goat. But if you're a goat, you got to realize, like, this is what you're here for. You're here to eat grass and get fucked up.
Yeah,
okay?
you're not that high on the food chain.
One of these days, someone's going to find you slipping, and they're going to eat your ass.
Find you slipping.
Yeah, and you guys walk, you make a lot of noise. Mountain lions have good ears. They're just going to slowly sneak up behind you bitches, and someone's going to get jacked.
Damn,
The
I
odds
can't
you live
believe
in the 10, pretty small. You got to get out of here?
No, I said I can't believe how little effort that was. Like,
So easy to kill a cow. A cow.
I know.
Big ass
It's
cow.
huge.
Grab him by the neck, shook it, snapped, boom.
Well, would you rather be taken down by a lion or a crocodile?
that's
I think
interesting.
you want a lion because the
quicker.
lion's going to
Yeah.
actually kill you.
Yeah.
The crocodile just start eating you.
And they drown you, too. They would drown
Yeah,
you.
they
They'll
drown
drown you.
you.
I mean, they'll eat
Pull
your
you
dick
down.
first. They don't
That's
give a
what
fuck.
the
They'll eat your dick first.
that death
I
roll.
think-
Those crocodiles love dick.
They'll eat your fucking delicious dick. I think that's the thing with bears too. Is that bears they don't kill you first. They just eat you. Because what you want to do is you want to get killed by a predator. Because predators are always if you're getting killed by something that doesn't always kill its stuff. Sometimes it eats a lot of things that it finds laying around, whether it's carrion or whether it's berries or vegetables like bears. They just eat you.
Yeah.
They're not concerned with killing you. Once they have you, they have you.
Right.
Okay, they weigh 1,200 fucking pounds.
Yeah.
So they just start eating. Why kill you first? I don't
Right.
care if you scream.
It's good.
I'm trying to eat your dick.
Yeah.
And they just chew chunks of
Yeah.
you. They say that the Grizzly Man documentary when that guy
Love
died,
it.
Yeah.
amazing, right?
Love it.
Folks, if you have not watched Grizzly Man, it's one of the best unintentional comedies
Yeah.
in the history of filmmaking.
It's what brought us together.
This is like
Is it really?
It's
We went-
kind of our love story.
Yeah.
Tell me.
When we were dating,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't forget, but we were like, we got to go to see this movie about this fucking
Yeah.
guy that lived with bears.
Timothy
I remember
Treadwell.
I remember the news story breaking,
Right.
you know, and we went. And we're sitting in this theater. I think it was in Pasadena at a
The Lemley.
Lemley. So it was more of like it was playing in like the artsy theater. It wasn't in like the major release theaters. It was in the artsy theaters around. And we went, and there was like maybe like 50 or 60 people at it. And the whole time, every like basically beat of the movie, we're in hysterics,
Yeah.
like laughing. And the other 50 people are not. Like they're all serious moviegoers that like really feel for the guy. And we're
Oh my
like, we have like
God.
Yeah.
tears, like we're laughing.
Our eyes lock.
And we're getting looks from people. Like we're getting looks like it's not fucking funny, man. You know, he's dead.
We loved
Oh,
it.
And
it's
that's when I
so
was like-
funny though. It's like it does a disservice to his life to pretend that he wasn't funny.
I agree. So
Remember the
earnest.
pilot? The best line is the pilot who would drop him off, and he was like, he decided he wanted to go live with bears, and
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was retarded.
That guy summed up that dude's
Yeah.
entire life. My favorite part was when he was walking around with his camera, talking to his camera about how easy it would be if he was gay, but he's not gay.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like so obviously gay.
So
and he's
obvious.
walking around with his camera and he's like talking to it. I ran into some guy who his roommate, like apparently the Grizzly Man was in love with his roommate, and when his roommate didn't reciprocate, he trashed his apartment. Apparently, he was a bit of an angry fellow.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
Like, if you ever saw the video and like he's screaming and yelling into the camera, a bunch
Yeah.
of different, he does like a bunch of
Yes.
different takes.
Yes.
Fuck you!
Yeah.
Fuck you, park rangers!
Yeah, the park
fuck are
rangers.
you doing for these bears? Okay, I worked it out.
Yeah.
Worked it out. Try it again. Let's do it one more time.
Yeah.
And he's got this like really obvious like sort of femme gay voice.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
he's got that voice, like this
Yes.
unmistakable,
The undeniable,
stereotypical,
Yes, yes.
like cartoonish gay voice.
Yeah.
He does.
And so he's walking, holding up the camera, going, "Well, if I was gay, I could just go to a rest stop and meet a guy, but I'm not. Timothy Treadwell's not gay." And it's like the weirdest thing. Like this poor fucking guy, like he was
Yeah.
so torn up and confused and conflicted that he just decided to go live with bears.
With bears.
See if he could just
He
get
he
some
misread
dick.
the fucking newsletter and went after real bears instead of big guys like me.
It was crazy how close he got to the animals, like where the fox became his little
the
buddy.
fox is huge.
Yes.
And then remember when the bear poos?
Yes.
He goes, look, it's so fresh.
He just came out of her butt. It's still warm. He's like touching her shit.
Wasn't the fox called like Foxy?
Mrs. Cupcake. Yeah, the fox is Foxy.
What was the thing?
Hi, Mr. Chocolate.
It also sounded so gay when he got. Remember when the bear approached him one time?
Chocolate.
A bear was approaching him, and he was like, fuck you, or like, get away from me, get away.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Yeah, it was
Get the
awful.
fuck away from me.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, like he has to.
Oh, that's right. It was the reverse.
Yeah, I love you. Get away from me.
He has to be
I love you.
stern with them. Have to be stern with them. You gotta make them know.
Yeah.
You don't want to let them get in too close. Apparently, the death video, where they never got a lens on it, so it's only audio.
It's audio,
They had
yeah.
the cap
Yes.
on, but the camera was running. Is 7 minutes long. Took him 7 minutes for the bear to eat them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was him and his girlfriend.
The bear
Oh,
and a
right,
boat.
his then
Yeah.
girlfriend.
The girlfriend hit the bear over the head with a frying pan, apparently, a couple times, and the bear was like, bitch. And he
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
And there was a
ate her
sick
too.
bear, apparently.
It was
they-
a sick bear?
They found out, like, later on, I remember, you could look it up, that I don't remember if the bear had, like, some type of disease, like, I don't know, rabies or something, where it was not it wasn't like a healthy, normal functioning bear, is
Well,
what
It
they
was
determined.
hungry.
Yeah,
because it's
that was-
But it was
I didn't know it
because
was
of something
disease.
else. That's what I read.
The problem with that is that they didn't really find much of the bear because they shot the bear when they flew over and they saw that the bear had killed these people because apparently a pilot saw the rib cage coming up. That's what he saw,
Fuck.
and he realized that this bear was eating a person. He saw clothes, saw a tent, saw a
Yeah.
camp, so he knew that the bear was eating a person. So they got a guy, one of the rangers, I guess, shot him, and then when they went back, I think it was like a couple of months later, there was nothing left. There was like, there was just fucking a couple pieces of bone.
His
I
little
thought they
short
found him
shorts
in there.
left.
I thought they found them in the guy in
All
the
they
bear's
found were his
insides or
I
whatever.
don't know. They
Bones.
might
Yeah.
have. I mean, they might have processed the bear's guts once they killed him. It's
Well,
most likely.
And by
But-
no means, if you're listening, do not let this deter you from living with bears. Go for it. It should be fine.
I'm addicted to all these Alaska shows, man.
Oh, it's really cool.
I
which
watch all
one?
these Last Frontier shows, like Alaska Last Frontier and the Yukon Men, and that is crazy living, man.
And you just went hunting somewhere up north, didn't you?
Montana. but
That's
Mon-
pretty
Oh,
cool,
Montana's
right? Montana's
beautiful.
Montana doesn't give a fuck, okay?
Oh.
That place is, we went down the Missouri River into a place called the Badlands, and the Badlands does not give a fuck. You might as well have gone to the moon.
Really?
You might as well be on the moon. There's no one there. There's no cell phone signal. You ain't got shit. You got no radio. And you are in what is the bottom of a giant ancient ocean. It used to be the Great Western Inland Sea during the Jurassic period. Like there was
Whoa.
dinosaurs and shit roaming through that area. So the bottom, the ground everywhere is like silt. It's like that same like slippery shit on the bottom of a lake. So you have mountains that are covered in silt. And they had homesteads out there where they gave people like you if you lived there, you could claim a giant chunk of land, and as long as you lived on it for a certain amount of time, it would be your land. Well, they gave these people this land, and they all left. They all quit. No one.
Wow.
You can't grow anything on it.
Yeah.
It's like this crazy silty shit, and there's not. I mean, there's deer around, but man, you got to fucking hunt for days sometimes to kill one.
Wow.
So you're out there camping and trying to catch these deer and bringing them back to your family. At a certain point in time, you're like, look, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
We're going to run out of food.
Yeah.
And so they all did. They all bailed. It's just not reliable. And in the wintertime, it gets way too fucking cold.
Oh,
it
I
gets
bet.
so cold that the river freezes. The river freezes solid. And,
Wow.
you got to cut holes in it and try to get fish out of there. Bitch, good luck trying to feed yourself like that. So they all bailed.
Wow,
So
wow.
that's where we went hunting. It was fascinating.
That's pretty awesome.
It's like it was literally like going to another planet. It was so humbling. To live outside like that for 5 days in that kind of environment is really, really, really humbling because you start to feel like you start to see like how first of all how fragile you are, even just the temperature. Like it was 12 degrees out where we were sleeping outside. It's 12 degrees, so you're bundled up in this sleeping bag and shit, and zipped over your head, and trying to squeeze yourself to make your body warm. And it's 12 degrees.
Oh my
It's
God.
12, and nothing gives a fuck about you. And
Yeah.
there's just a bunch of things out there eating other things.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's deer eating grass, mountain lions eating deer. We found mountain lion shit, this big, thick rope of shit with fur in it. It's like, whoa, son.
Yeah.
You're seeing, this is the food chain. This
Yeah.
is this one really harsh ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even that Survivor guy where he goes out, he went to like Scotland,
Yeah.
and just on the other side of the hill, like there's people living right at the moors or whatever on the other side. He tries to spend the night there where people do live, just out in the wild, and he almost freezes his dick off. It's fucking cold. It's an
Is this the real Survivor man or that other guy?
I don't remember which one it was.
Because that West guy, the guy who slept in hotels.
There was a guy that slept in hotels that made it seem like he wasn't?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Well, first of all, the real guy is Les Stroud. Les Stroud is the real guy. He goes out he goes for 10 days now. Films it all himself. He's the real deal. He's legit. But that Bear Grylls character, that dude is apparently, he's some like military guy. He probably is like sort of a survival expert. But when he was doing that show, he was like faking a lot of shit. Like, we just came upon a seal carcass. Now we can use this for food.
That's
Like,
the guy.
yeah,
Then.
that guy. He's like, he didn't really come across a seal carcass. Like they put that thing there, and according to Les says they made Man vs. Wild because they were always trying to get him to fake shit, but he wouldn't fake shit. We had him on the podcast. He was talking about it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He's like, I wouldn't fake
I'll listen
things.
to that.
Wow.
Yeah, so he told me that's why they got Bear Grylls to do his show. They're like, we'll show you. We're going to do the same show, do your own show, but we'll fake everything.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, everybody found out they fake things, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to watch it now.
Of course.
I don't watch some dude pretending he's sleeping in the jungle, or
That's
he's get helicoptered into a 4-star
That's
hotel
totally
and he's
lame.
in the disco at night,
Yeah.
drinking margaritas and
I
They
feel
just put him back
duped.
there in the morning. He's like, oh, what a night.
getting a massage at a spa. He's getting his feet massaged.
Yes.
Well, a night in the jungle is not pleasant.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I can drink my own piss to stay hydrated. Don't drink ocean water, but drink plenty of urine.
I love that shit, though. I love all that stuff.
I love the real shit. I
Yeah.
I can't watch the Bear Grylls show. As soon as I found out that they were manufacturing scenarios, and he's just showing you, I understand what they're saying. They're saying he's showing you how you would survive if you came across this. So let's just make this happen and have him deal with it.
Yeah.
But he did a lot of shit that was like you would never do, like really dangerous, risky shit, like jumping off of things. Like, why is he jumping off of this? Like
Yeah.
sliding down the sides of mountains. Like, why are you doing it like this? This is like seems dangerous. Go sliding into an ice cave. Like, why? There's nothing in there for you.
Yeah.
Don't go in that ice cave.
And you're not
Stop
preserving your
it.
life. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing there? Avoid that cave. Just a crazy asshole.
Totally.
But that's what they want you to do. If you tried to like make a Tom and Christina, your mom's
Yeah.
house reality show, do you know how much fucking bullshit you'd have to deal with?
Yeah.
No.
They would for sure. First of all, because you guys don't have a big enough name to carry it, just
Yeah.
based on that, so they're going to have to promote it.
Right.
So they're going to have to say, well, Tom, look, I know you're a well-known stand-up comedian in the world of stand-up comedy, but people don't know you as an actor, okay? So we're going to need some help with this. You need to help us along with this. We're going to get your show going.
What do I need to do?
Yeah, what's our show,
look,
Joe?
it's not all reality, okay? What is reality, okay? We're going to make some things happen, and you just do your thing. When the thing is really happening, we're just making it happen. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, sure.
Okay.
So next thing you know, you guys are in marriage counseling. You're
Oh,
having a
but
fake argument,
There's a walrus in the backyard.
And
how are you going to deal with
You
it?
lost your redneck.
I love
my
it.
redneck. Oh, you
it.
done lost your redneck.
Well, I'd love to make that show if you're proposing.
No, I'm telling you, don't do it. I'm trying to tell you not to sell out. And you're
I'm
like, I'm
not
selling.
doing it. No.
I'm selling. If you're
No
buying,
way.
No,
I'm selling.
definitely not.
No way.
Well, that's the thing about you guys having this podcast. Your podcast is perfect because nobody tells you what to do. Like all podcasts,
Right.
No,
They
It's the
really
best.
they represent.
it is the best.
They really represent what the fuck you're thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It's you don't lose the message in the producers or network notes or any of that shit.
Yeah, it's really what you want it to be, and that's what's cool about like the different circle of podcasts, like especially like ones that feel like are they sprung off from like people that you're associated with. Is that each is like a representation of each of everybody's personality,
Yeah.
and who they are. Like Skeptic Tank with Ari is. It's so like you're getting that's who Ari is and that's what he wants the show to be.
Yes.
And Joey Diaz is the same way. And then
Church of What's Happening Now.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
then I just did
Duncan Trussell Family. Hour.
absolutely Duncan is that's a total Duncan experience, and you're getting to know the guy. And then Bert just came out with a podcast. Bertcast. I did the first episode. I should say I just sat there and laughed on the first episode because it was at Bert's place. And he had Joey Diaz and his father
Oh my god.
and me in this room, and Bert is he's steering the ship. It's what he wants it to be. Same
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
But you just sit there listening to Diaz and Mr. Kreischer, and it's the fucking funniest thing. I was crying. I was in tears. It was so funny, and what we do in your mom's house, it's exactly what we want the show to be. That's the most fun about it. Is it's totally what we want it to be.
Yes.
We're so lucky right now, right? Don't you
Oh,
feel that?
sure.
Like, feel
This
so
is the
fortunate?
best time to be a stand-up comic because you don't need the big networks now. If you want to do your fucking hour, you don't need to go through Comedy Central. If you want to talk to your audience, you can reach them directly through a podcast.
Yeah.
They can download it any time of day or night. It's the best thing.
And what's really cool about this is that people that get into a position where people are paying attention to, then they can tell you about some other cool shit.
Right.
Sort of like retweeting.
Yeah.
You know, like I love retweeting because people send me some really fucking cool articles.
Yeah.
And I'll retweet those, and like a lot of it is like really interesting shit. And there's no way you're going to accumulate all that crap on your own. Like you
Right.
need some help out
You do.
there.
You need some
Right.
help.
And that's one of the cool things about like having a successful podcast is like your podcast now has a big following. You could tell them, hey, watch Bert Kreischer's podcast, listen to Bert Kreischer's podcast.
Yeah.
This is a new, and now everybody goes, oh, awesome. And then they go, wow, I like the way Tommy thinks. You know, Tommy makes me laugh. Christina makes me laugh. They're saying that this is a great podcast. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
And then it branches off, and
Yep.
they can do that, and the next person, and Ari can introduce a new one. And Duncan
Absolutely.
can-
Yep.
I mean, that's the coolest thing about it is like we know so many people that are really fucking funny, but in this day and age, before podcasting, it was really hard to get your name out there. Like just
Absolutely.
as a stand-up, you had to have some TV credits in order to be in a club.
Yeah.
And even then, like it takes a long time for people to like take enough chances on you, and the word
Yeah.
of mouth,
Yeah.
and returning to a place over and over again. Like to build up markets, it's a long,
Takes-
hard road.
Yeah.
But now all they have to do is be funny.
And
You know?
podcasting too, like this was kind of an experiment for
Yeah.
me. Was I spoke to you about it. I also spoke to like Bill Burr, Al Madrigal about putting out an album on my own. Mm-hmm. And you guys, I'm saying separately, all encouraged me to do that.
Yeah.
And I did it on my own. You know, put it out. But podcasting is the thing that got really an audience for it.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
I put it out there, and the whole like success of doing this thing on my own, where you feel kind of like you're an entrepreneur, like like I'm just gonna I'm not gonna go the label route. I'm just gonna record it, and I'm gonna just do it on my own, and putting it out there, and then seeing if it works. But seeing that the success is basically because of the audience we built from doing podcasts.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a crazy connection too, and don't you feel like kind of obligated to be in communication with these people and like
Absolutely.
connect with them and
Absolutely, and there's
and keep making more content for them.
absolutely, and
Yes,
and there's
and it's so cool when the stand-up now. Like I think the last
That's
time
the
I saw
thing.
you, I was like, "Hey, my audience isn't there yet." They're coming now.
Yeah.
And it makes such a difference when I look out and I can see that they know who I am, and I
Oh.
recognize them, and I see that we have this wonderful connection, and to talk to the people after, and
Changes
you're like,
everything.
"Oh, this is awesome! Like this is what I've wanted for so long."
Yeah,
You have
we
this
brought Brian on stage in Austin, and they went fucking ape shit.
Oh, yeah.
Brian got like a standing ovation going on stage in Austin.
oh yeah.
And did you ever watch that interview Alex Jones did of us? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was
Yeah,
really cool.
really good
It was cool.
video.
Yeah, Alex
When,
Jones came back, and he may or may not have gotten high.
Oh shit! I did.
May or may not.
I did Brian's like little Death Squad tour in Ohio a
Yeah.
couple months ago, right? A month ago.
Yeah.
And holy shit! When
Yeah.
when you were brought on stage, the place went fucking crazy.
Yeah,
man.
it's
crazy.
it's a completely different world now because of
awesome.
podcasts. You could literally make people famous, like in the real world, like they walk around, like
Yeah.
it's interesting.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like everything that comedy networks never were. Comedy networks were never really comedians networking. This is like a real comedy network.
It's exactly
Because
exactly.
all of us, it's like, if I tell you, go listen to Joey Diaz's CD, and I'm crying laughing when I tell you that, you can trust me. Go
Yeah.
listen to that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we know what Ari's tastes are like.
Yeah.
We know what Duncan's tastes are like.
Yeah, you get to know
It's a
them.
rare time, man. There's never been a moment like this for entertainers.
No.
Where you can just sort of do your
You're
own
so in
thing.
connection with
Yeah.
with the audience that wants to be with you. You're connected to them. Before that would take a fucking pen and a pad and a letter.
Jesus!
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mailed this to you.
And they get
Christ.
to know the real you, which is an interesting facet of celebrity now, I think. And I don't know if it seems like in the past celebrities had to have two lives. Like there's your public sphere and your private. And now those two spheres are merging, and they almost have to because of this technology. Like they
You have access to the real you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. I mean, obviously there's drawbacks to that as well.
If you're a douchebag.
If you're a
Yeah.
douchebag.
They're gonna know who you really are.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah. But I think that's ultimately where the whole world is headed. The no secrets world.
I agree, and no shame world.
Yeah.
Because this generation's growing up in public, not like we did. There's no notion anymore of like keep that photograph in your locker. Like
Right.
now, put the photograph on Facebook.
Right.
Everyone's going to see your titties.
Yep.
Everybody's going to see everything.
See them titties.
Put them titties in my face, girl. Yeah, it's these kids today too. If you stop and think about how silly you were when you were 17.
Oh, my
Can you imagine how
God.
many pictures of your dick would be online?
Oh, my God.
There would be chapters. There would be like gigabytes of my dick.
Torrents.
online.
There'd be torrents of your
Yeah.
dick.
My dick would be everywhere.
college
I would
courses.
be famous for being the dumbest kid with his dick.
Right?
And
Zip
send it in
files.
emails.
Oh, my
I would just
God.
upload it everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I would dick roll everybody instead of Rick roll. I would release videos where the video would start out with some music and then I would jump out with my dick.
And funny ones too, though, right? With like sunglasses
I
on
would
your
do
dick
whatever I
and your dick
could to get
smoking
you
a
to look at my
cigarette.
dick. If I had access to that when I was 17,
my
anonymous
God.
access,
Oh.
you'd all be seeing my dick. This is just a fact. I'd get it out there.
So great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, imagine these poor kids today. Anything they do, someone
Recorded.
Photoshop makes a Photoshop of them. Just
Forever.
hundreds of Photoshops of me and with a woman's body, with a dude banging me. There's a lot of
Yeah.
them. I mean, not just
I did
a
half
little.
of them.
Oh, Redban.
Remember the real dolls I made of you?
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah.
man.
The Photoshop is amazing. Like what you can do and not do. Like sometimes you have to look at a picture and go shop. Like someone's
Yeah.
being like real subtle.
Fucking Mitt Romney's mom jeans photo.
So good.
That's Photoshop.
Yeah, it's
but,
amazing.
But you look at it and you're like, those jeans are really high on you. You're not sure. I
So
remember,
high and
yeah.
so tight.
And they raised him up just enough to
Yeah.
make it just
It's perfect.
questionable.
I did this political show for the web for Comedy Central. I was a writer on it that Kyle Kinane hosted, like earlier this year, all leading up to the election. And the whole thing, one of the episodes, we were like, got to use this photo of Mitt Romney, and we had people like doing research just to make sure, like, is this photoshopped? Because it's one of those you're like, this is so well done. You're like, no, that's not real. But people were like lawyers were like, is this really real? Is it like they were
Lawyers.
asking?
Oh,
yeah, you
my
know,
I
like
remember
network
when
lawyers.
the De La Hoya photos came out of him
Yes.
wearing
Oh, yeah.
women's clothes.
Yes.
And he had experts examine them and show proof that they had been doctored.
Yeah.
And then later he came out and said, all right, this is me. I got doing coke and dressed up like a chick.
That's great.
That's
He's
awesome.
just, he didn't want to come clean with that.
Yeah.
I like him even more.
Yeah, well, I like that he probably got that monkey off his back. They probably fucked with him for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm
I
sure
like panties. What's
that,
up?
that Russian chick, if she's still alive, she probably still tortures him with that.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably scared. One day she's going to do interviews and shit, and he's not going to be able to pay her off anymore.
Let's see the ball kicking video. Let's see that one. All right. Take it back home.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Ball kicks.
Too much. Too much.
Poor Oscar.
Yeah,
Do you think you like to get ball kicked?
probably.
Just like he's beating so many dudes' asses, he wanted a
Yes.
chick to beat his ass.
Sure, there you
dress
go.
up like a woman.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You got tired of being like super macho man and just
Yes.
wanted to wear a dress and shit.
Well, they say the majority
Smack
of
me around.
dudes that are into S&M are being submissive are lawyers and high-powered people who have to be in control in their daily lives, and then they like a good ball kicking.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I control everything else. I tell people what to do all the time.
Wear a diaper.
So-
Treat me like a baby.
Yeah,
throw,
they like to shit
throw
themselves.
pies at me.
Change me.
Call me Daisy. Yeah.
How can we save those people, folks? Is there anything we could do? Do we just accept the fact that they're just a part of the spectrum of life?
Yes.
I think you have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
That or Alpha Brain. One of the two.
That's
is
not
gonna
going to
work.
help.
All right. Well,
Alpha Brain and Shroom Tech together, maybe he has a chance. He immediately starts hill sprints today.
no, they're definitely. It definitely is part of the spectrum. That's the crazy thing is knowing that, like, you know, a dude.
It's all normal.
That's all. That's all on there, man. Everybody
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
I know.
What a wacky spectrum. The spectrum of human beings, you know?
and behavior. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, well,
Some dudes like to eat people.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that's
Well,
that's out there.
That guy that
Germany?
killed his gay lover recently and chopped up his ass on
Yeah,
camera and was
that's
eating
right.
chunks of his
Yeah,
ass
yeah.
on camera.
If they only had
Killing
battle
him.
ropes.
Yeah, if the guy in the bottom has some jiu-jitsu, maybe he fight out of the position and get to the top, to mount. Take the knife away from him. Okay, now you're doing better.
Hombre, nombre es
What a
tomate.
shitty way to die. Guy kills you, fucks you, and then eats your ass on TV.
God.
Slicing it up.
Oh,
That is a bad way.
Christ.
What the fuck is with people wanting to eat people? What are you proving?
I would
there?
try it, though. I'd taste it.
If you were dying of
What?
starvation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What race do you think would be the most delicious?
Oh, okay, let's talk about this.
She thought about it.
Well, let's see. Okay, because I know in sushi I like fatty tuna the most because it's a nice fatty piece. So white people right now are pretty fatty. White
Belly and
American. I'm going to go corn-fed Iowa woman in the airport that looks like Sam Kinison, fat lady.
I think that would be woman in the airport looks like Sam Kinison.
There
I
are
think
women who look just like Sam Kinison.
that would be good, but the fattiness would be more like a pork. I think
It's
than
like
a
pork
tuna.
belly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be like tuna at all.
like
Tuna's,
not the fatty tuna?
well,
That
even
good
when
kind?
tunas are slightly fatty, like the bottom area, that's lean as fuck compared to almost
Yeah.
every other organism on the planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Still
if you
pretty
wanna-
muscular.
Yeah,
Well,
you want to
okay,
look at a
maybe-
human. Humans are gross.
Probably a lot
Maybe
of
pork,
cis.
a pork rind? I
Really-
like pork rinds.
Yeah, no, more like a roast.
Okay.
Like a fat, sloppy pork roast where the meat's just falling off because it's all
Yeah.
made out of Cheetos and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. The only nutrition it's had is soda.
I'd
It's just
take a kind of fat
fatty
black
and-
guy, you know?
Oh,
Exotic.
yeah.
With black
Well,
beans and rice.
I like.
Perhaps some hot sauce.
I think the black guys are pretty like naturally muscular, so I take
Okay.
one that's kind of fat, so I get a nice mixture of like it's like a
Right.
ribeye.
yeah,
Like a
yeah,
little,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like-
yeah. I
Oh,
get
that's-
marbled.
Marbled.
Marbled, but not
Yeah.
crazy.
Right.
Yeah, and probably it's the darker meat, too. It's probably more nutritious.
I'd go Indian because it's already seasoned.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
But not a lot of
I
meat
bet
on
it
those.
is,
Not
right?
a lot of
Yeah,
meat
it's
on
probably-
the bone.
With all that curry, they
Yeah.
say that like pineapple flavors your loads.
Right.
I'm
Right.
sure curry would flavor your rump.
That's
Let's
right.
do it.
Curry
Yeah,
and
if you got
armpit.
curry in your fats. Well, that's the case with bears. You know, with bears, you want to eat a bear that gets shot after it eats a lot of blueberries. The bears that, like, if you eat bears, apparently it's like some of the most delicious meat you can have.
Really?
Yeah, because it literally changes the way their flesh tastes. And their fat. Their fat has all this, like, blueberry in the fat. It's
Oh,
crazy.
that's delicious.
Yeah, it's really nutty.
Yeah.
Let's do a trip.
Let's go kill a bear.
Let's
Well,
go
what
to
about
Alaska.
you, Joe? What's your
What's your race choice?
racial choice?
It's obvious.
Probably Asians.
Oh, it's obvious. How come?
I just know Joe's type. He's either Brazilian or Asians.
Yeah, they
Oh, obrigado.
probably would have, like, Asians aren't known for being the most muscular.
Okay.
Probably be a good, you can get a good cut.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about that one guy from Japan who murdered a girl, cooked her, and ate her, and then got off, like, on some insanity case? So he was only incarcerated for a small amount of time.
Did he
Some
keep
sort of a
her,
mental
some of her
hospital.
for a long time, like in a closet or something?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Something along the line. I forget the guy's name, but he was famous for it.
Yoshi Obayashi.
How dare you? That's not true. That guy, I'll
Might
pull
be.
it up. Japanese cannibal.
Well, I mean, give the guy a break, man. Like, so he had a bad, did a bad thing.
Well, she probably did something
Right.
wrong, right?
She probably said some shit she shouldn't
Yeah,
have said.
she's talked a lot of
Talked
shit.
during the
This
football
is his
game?
name, Isai Sagawa. Yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. And apparently, this dude has described openly. In 1981, he murdered and cannibalized a Dutch woman named Renee Hartevelt. And after his release, he became a minor celebrity in Japan, making a living through public interest in his crime. Wow. He served time in a French jail. Oh, the French let him out. Huh.
How long did he serve?
Like, listen, he has suffered enough. All he did is
He
eat
has
one
suffered.
American. Yeah. He is under 5 feet tall, and he felt like he was weak and inadequate, and he ate her because he wanted to absorb her energy.
It's a good reason.
That is a
Said
good
he
reason.
fainted at the shock of shooting her, but awoke with the realization that he had to carry out his desire to eat her. He did so, beginning with her buttocks and thighs, after
That's
having
very
sex with her corpse. In interviews, he noted his surprise that the corn-colored nature of human fat. For 2 days, Sagawa ate various parts of her body. He described the meat as soft and odorless, like tuna.
What?
Wow. That
Look
shit's
who-
crazy. You
Hey,
fucking nailed it.
that flavor.
You're a
awesome.
natural
But
cannibal.
I think this
Thank
was
you.
a
She's
in-shape
done it
girl,
before.
though.
There you
I think
go.
this wasn't a
Oh, she-
fatty.
She wasn't a
I don't think
fatty.
he was eating someone for their pork-like
Consistency.
deliciousness.
Yeah.
Sam Kinison-like deliciousness. He then attempted to dump the mutilated body in a remote lake, but was seen in the act and later arrested by the French police, who found parts of the deceased still in his refrigerator. Oh, my God.
There we go.
His wealthy father provided a top lawyer for his defense, and after being held for 2 years without trial in a French jail, the blah, blah, blah found him legally insane and unfit to stand trial and ordered him to be held indefinitely in a mental institution.
Good call.
Wow.
How long did he?
That's a good ruling.
He spent over 3 months there, and then he went home.
Yeah, how did they let him out, man?
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Japanese authorities found it legally impossible to hold him because the French government refused to release court documents, which remain a secret to Japan, claiming that the case was already dropped in France. So as a result, wow. They extradited him to Japan, and when they let him in Japan, Japan just let him go.
Oh, jeez.
It's funny how that always happens between, like, when somebody from a country gets caught for something in another country, there's always like this irrational
Yeah.
we just want him and
Listen
don't punish him.
Listen
We'll
how
take
crazy
care of
this
him.
is. Upon his arrival in Japan, he was immediately taken to the Matsuzawa Hospital, where examining psychologists all found him to be sane, stating that sexual perversion was the sole motivation for the murder.
That sounds like a sadistic, evil motherfucker then, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, the Japanese authorities found it legally impossible to hold him because the French government refused to release the
So-
documents. So they said that this guy was just depraved. He was totally sane, depraved, and just sexual perversion was the reason why he killed this chick. He kills one, and then he makes a living as a minor celebrity. He's invited like as a guest speaker on TV shows and shit. He pretends to eat people.
That's crazy.
He mocks like biting people.
That's like if
Right.
Ted Bundy was doing talk shows. Like,
Yeah,
He
right.
wrote books about the murder. He wrote books about it, describing it in great detail. Wow,
Jesus Christ, man.
this is incredible. That Japanese are so different.
I know.
That culture is so. Brian, out of all the places that we've ever been to, wasn't that the one that most felt like we were on another planet?
Oh, yeah, it was great. I can't wait to go back.
But wasn't
That
it
or
like
Taiwan?
it really
I mean,
felt?
Thailand.
It really felt like you were in like another planet. It's
Yeah.
like you're in Blade Runner or something. You
Really?
know, like, we both did
And they just got hit again with another earthquake.
7.2. Yeah.
I didn't even
Oh,
know
I didn't
that.
know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's looking ugly. It's looking ugly for the Japanese.
that sucks. I'm dying to visit. I really want to take a trip
Me
one day.
too.
Tough
I
spot,
wanna go to
man.
Japan.
The being on an island that's got regular volcanic and earthquake activity like that, and after that big tsunami, like the reality of that all setting in, that's a tough spot to live.
Yeah.
It's not that big either, you know. How big is it? It's smaller than Texas, right?
Small island.
Must be.
I think
Texas is ginormous.
Unbelievable amount of people, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially Tokyo, you know. Holy shit.
And it's such a modern city too. It's really interesting. Like
I like that.
their buildings, and I love their writing. Like seeing their writing all illuminated and shit. It really does look like some alien shit.
It's fascinating culture. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're
I
not
gotta
so
check.
good though. You got to get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Powerful Brian Redban is out of here, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a bolt, and you guys got to leave too.
Yeah, we
right?
gotta
let's
go.
just wrap this bitch up. If anybody wants to follow Christina Pazsitzky all up in this bitch, you could follow her at Christina with a C, not one of those freaks that spells it with a K.
Yeah.
right.
A CH.
CH, Christina
Yeah,
P
P.
on Twitter. And of course, Tom Segura is Tom Segura. Holla at your boys.
Buy the CDs of both of these guys.
Yes.
Awesome.
Tommy's new CD is White Girls with Cornrows. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Thank
Tommy,
you.
you've been killing it on the road. We've been talking about it on the podcast.
Thanks,
I keep
man.
hearing it over and over again.
Thank
People
you.
that tell me they went to your shows, I get like messages on Twitter like, holy shit, Tom killed it. He's fucking awesome. They
That's
love
awesome.
You.
Thank
Dude,
you.
You're getting your due, man.
Thank you for
Finally.
all the Joe
Finally.
Rogan fans that I get to meet that come to shows are phenomenal. Thank you for supporting. It's really
Well,
awesome.
I've been saying this for a while, man. You're one of the most unappreciated stand-ups in the country right now.
You're
I really believe that.
a nice guy, man.
It's true.
Thank you.
I really believe that. You're like one of the top guys. All right, that's it for the podcast, you dirty fucks.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
Thanks
you,
for
Joe.
being on.
Thanks
Thanks
for
to
having us.
Ting. Go to rogan.ting.com. Get $50 off some groovy shit. Go to onit.com. ONNIT. Use the code name Rogan. Save yourself 10% off any and all supplements. And go fuck yourself.
There you go.
But know this. It's good. It's good. Go fuck yourself. It's good.
Yeah.
Life is good. It's good to fuck. It's good to do
Definitely.
everything. Just do it. Do it all with love, you dirty fucks. And we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow with Mixmaster Mike of the Beastie Boys.
And Russell Peters.
And powerful Russell Peters. And then
Together?
Yes, and then Wednesday, the great Dom Irera will join us, and Sunday, Dennis McKenna, the brother of Terrence McKenna, will regale us with stories of psychedelic adventures, and will be promoting his new book. So, all right, thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening, and thanks for all the positive messages and all the love out there. The amount of happy and positive people that I run into online and in real life as opposed to not happy people is fucking staggering, okay? It's the most incredible group of people that we run into at these shows and online. It's amazing. I don't know what we did to deserve it, but thank you very much, and know this, we appreciate the shit out of it, and we're never going to forget, and we're never going to stop doing this. All right, so we'll see you soon. Bye. Go fuck yourself. And suck it.